Are you looking for a faster video? Well, today it's a live stream, and I know you're probably looking for a really nice and tidy, edited down video, but I have ways for you to make it faster. You can click that little gear on the YouTube settings right there on the video and adjust the playback speed, make me sound like a chipmunk, and it'll go a lot faster. You can also look and see if there's timestamps for this project in the description, and if you're on a desktop, you can hover over the time bar at the bottom of the screen and see if it's chunked up into chapters, and then that way you can go directly to the step you're looking for. And lastly, you can also tap on the screen on the right hand side of the video picture or on the left hand side to make the video jump ahead, forward or backward if you're on a mobile device. And you can adjust that amount in your settings so you can have complete control over how much it jumps. So if you are on a desktop, you can use the fast forward or the rewind, and that will make it go faster as well. You can also enable subtitles, and the little CC on the screen will enable closed captioning. That way, if I am a little bit harder to understand with that double playback speed, the subtitles might help you out. All right, well, I know that it's not a nice little edited video, but if you sew with me, we'll get there together and it'll be lots of fun. And now for the live stream. Happy sewing! Hello, how's it going? Okay, so scheduling it didn't work. I think I may know why, but I'm not quite sure. Oh yeah, look at that, it says upcoming. That's so interesting. Hi Walter, hi Carrie, hi Emmeline, hi Anna. I saw Barbara and Dar commenting on the scheduled one. You can watch every tutorial you like, but sometimes you just don't do it all right. I followed the directions, but now I'm thinking, I think I may know what I did, but I don't know. So we'll have to experiment next time. The scheduling thing is good. I just need to get the hang of it, and I know folks do it. Do you, Danny? So I'm not sure because I scheduled it on YouTube and it still says it's waiting. Oh, but now, okay, so now I see. Yeah, so I think it's because I created another stream key, which I've never done before, because that's what they recommend doing. And I'm wondering maybe I shouldn't have done that. And maybe I should, if I do that, I have to put it in my streaming software. So hopefully, maybe what I could do is delete the scheduled one, and maybe that will help folks figure it out. I commented in there. I have my stream up on like 3 different tabs, but I don't see the scheduled one anymore. So just a second, sorry guys. I'm Sammy, by the way. Welcome. I do kind of know what I'm doing here. Okay, this one I'm deleting. And let's hope you're all still here when I'm done. You guys still here? Okay, so one thing that I'm hoping that we notice is that I changed the latency, and that actually might make it be more responsive. Like the time when you hear what I say and what I see you type is gonna be smaller. We just started, Joey. Welcome, welcome. Sorry, I tried something new today, and I have to go into the event and go live from there. Do you use a streaming software, Danny? And you work with OBS? Yeah, I'm using Streamlabs. I was in the event and when I went live, but I didn't click go live from the event because how is that going to connect my software? It just says it was waiting for my streaming software. Thanks for the tips and welcome. So maybe I'll check that out. You did not miss a thing. I just started. So good morning. That was kind of a big good morning. It's Saturday. Happy Saturday. I had a free streaming day today because I thought I'd be sewing part 2 of the Chaco jumpsuit, but that went together lickety-split. Yeah, so you know, Danny, I'm not going to do that next time either because their reasoning, it was solid reasoning, but I think it's because they schedule 4 streams at a time. And I kind of want to do that. I would like to schedule my streams for the week so that you know when is the cutting, when's part 1, part 2, and you can just tune in for what you want, right? But I don't know. It will preview the stream. I used to use OBS, but I found it kind of lacking, a little clunky. Yeah, right, Danny? That's what I'm wondering too. I only did one, so, you know. I don't see Barbara over there or here, so I'm not sure. It is a yeah, right? The learning curve. You know, I just want to tell you all, living in this Zoom world, pre-Zoom, there was not a lot of information on how to live stream. There was if you were a gamer, but not all of us are gamers. There you are. Okay, great, Barbara. Sorry about that. And I've got a lot of people being like, tell me how you do all this. And I'm like, well, we'll see. It took being in the comments section of a lot of subpar YouTube videos to learn what I needed to learn, and trial and error, exactly. How dare I try something new? But I feel like I'm kind of curious to see if I'm going to ask you guys a question, and if you guys could answer it as soon as you hear me ask it, because I just kind of want to know what the time delay is, and then I promise I'll get right into what we're cutting and sewing today, because it's just an experiment on the latency. So I'm going to ask you, is it sunny where you live right now? Just answer yes or no. That way I know like what you're answering. And then that way we can see, because it was like quite a bit. So yeah, I feel like it's still there. The latency is still there. Yes, it's sunny there. Okay. Well, that's nice. All right, I'm going to ask you one more time because I was looking in my control room and now I want to look on the thing. Nope. Mullen's all nope. All right. I'm seeing so many names I haven't seen before. Hi, Missy Fat. How's it going? And thanks, Walter. I saw your congrats at the beginning there, so thank you. Let's see. Let me ask you another question. Why is it so hard to come up with the question? Is this your first time here? Yes or no? Maybe I should have asked a different yes or no question, but I mean like a different response. Oh, that was faster. Okay, that was really fast. So maybe this will be better, because sometimes I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Oh, you're talking about that thing I was talking about a few minutes ago. All right, well, thanks for humoring me. I think that there's less delay when I watch on YouTube than when I watch on the thing, on the control room. Okay, cool. So welcome. If you are new here and you want to chat with us, please do. We love it. You don't have to. Lurking is totally fine. If you want to chat and you can't figure out how, it might be just that you need to log into YouTube or create an account, which they call a channel. And yeah, hi Eliza. Hi Lorraine. Hi Jan. I feel like I've missed saying hi to a lot of you. Hi Emily. Root for less delay, right? That's so great. Yeah, I think Beverly it can. So some of you probably are on a computer. There's another Hannah. Hello. Hi Jackie. Yay for lurkers. I lurk in a lot of streams too. Yeah, it's different when you're in a iPad or like a phone, a tablet, or a computer too. All right, so like I said, we had a free day because I thought I'd be sewing part 2 of the jumpsuit, and I'm not. And it just kind of came to me that This Peppermint Paddington top has been popping up in my feed a little bit lately. And I am now a Minerva ambassador, which I'm figuring out as well. And so I'm going to use this fabric I got in my first little Minerva package. And I picked it for something else and it's not going to work. So this is perfect for the Paddington top. I can do whatever pattern I want. They don't care. And I barely had enough to do this. So I'm going to make one change that I think you might like because it probably would make doing this pattern a little bit more, I don't know. You're probably going to be more interested in doing it, right? Romper room's hanging low. Oh my gosh, I haven't thought about romper room forever. So if you don't know Peppermint Magazine, they have a free sewing pattern every month. You don't even need to pay for the magazine, which is incredibly generous. And it looks like Spoonflower is kind of providing the funds to be able to do this. So they get a different pattern drafter or pattern company to draft a pattern each time. This month it is, you can barely see it, but it's called French Navy Patterns. I've never sewn from them. I think I've heard them in passing. So this is the front. This is the back, so it has a back button closure. Because I don't have a whole lot of fabric, I'm going to put the back on the fold. And the only reason I'm doing this is because they actually say in the description on their website that most people found that they can pull this over the head. So really what they're saying is, hey, you can still cut and sew this with the plackets and then put the buttons on there, but no buttonholes, and just sew the buttons down. I've done this on a few things, like the dress I'm wearing now. I do have buttonholes on this though. So that might make it a little bit more enticing to make it, right? So let's see. Oh, nice, Sarah. I'm so glad to hear that. Let me make sure I'm catching up with chat here. I got you all talking today, didn't I? Oh, yeah, Jan. I think that would be really cute. And so that brings me to, remember like a month ago, I don't know why, but I did that Just Chatting stream. It's really rare for me to do that. And because I wanted to show you what was in my Fabric Godmother subscription box, and this was the pattern. So this is the front. So this is very, very similar. This is the Anthea by Anna Allen. Very similar, but you'll notice that the Paddington is a raglan sleeve, and the Anna Allen is a set-in sleeve with gathers at the top. The Anna Allen, the Anthea buttons down the front, whereas the Paddington buttons down the back. And this is also has a dress version. So I'll eventually make this as well, and then I can compare it. So this is a much faster sew, I can already tell, just because the raglan makes it a lot easier and faster. So a pinafore. Oh, really? Oh, Peppermint did. Yeah, I saw that. I think that pinafore is really cute. Sarah, I feel like your last name looks familiar. Comes in a ton of sizes, by the way. That you pick which size range you're in, A through, I think it's G, or H through O. And then that's the one you print out. So make sure you pay attention to which size range you're in. But let me tell you about the sizes. So it goes from a 32-inch bust or 82 centimeter bust all the way up to 57 7/8 inch bust or 147 centimeters. And the hip, I don't know why, but the hip measurement's missing on the smallest one. So we'll say it's 35-inch hip because I'm looking at the grade rule and figuring it out. Oh, it's a 1-inch. Wait a minute. How is there a 1-inch grade between the hip and a okay, so there's a 2-inch grade in the bust. So it's probably a 34-inch hip, 87 centimeters, up to 60 and I think that's 5/8 inch or 154 centimeters. And that is your size, not the garment. There's ease built into the garment as well. So maybe, I think it's here, Sarah. I think that's where it was. I've seen it. Yeah, I like raglans too. Gosh, they're so easy to sew, right? All right, so this has a facing, and so to determine if this was going to be able to pull over my head, I just cut the facing out really quick with some scrap fabric, and I sewed the shoulder seams, and then I just, you know, popped it on over my head. That's all. That's all I did. And if you're feeling like it's a little snug, you still have the seam allowance to remove to truly know if it'll fit. So if you really want an accurate amount for the size of this neck opening, or maybe you want to see like how high up or how low, you know, this neck is, you can lay it on there and kind of position it. It's got sorry, my microphone's right there, 3/8 of an inch seam allowance around it. So if you remove that on the interior circle here, on the interior circumference, the neckline's going to get a little bit bigger. That's actually quite a bit. And so I feel like it is probably going to go over most heads. I have double buns in my hair right now because it's Saturday, and it went over pretty easily. So that's how I figured it out. No problem, right? And this goes in my scrap bin, which I love now. All right, let me tell you about the fabric. So like I said, this is going to be my first Minerva brand ambassador project. I don't know why I giggle every time I say that. It just feels funny to be like, I'm a brand ambassador. You know what I mean? I feel very diplomatic, you know, like inviting you into the world in the most peaceful way of fabric. Okay, so this is it. It's called the LM-Hands-On Midnight. NLM, I feel like, oh, it's Lady McElroy, Hands-On, and then the color is Midnight. The number, I don't think there's a number actually. So if you just look up Hands-On on the Minerva site. So, all right. It's like and I'll tell you about the fabric too. Let me put this pattern page back with its pattern. So this is a cotton lawn. It's pretty wide. I think it's about, I want to say it's about 57 or 58 inches wide. And it's very nice and smooth. I'm actually wearing a dress out of a cotton lawn that's really similar in feeling to this. I like them. I like the lighter weights. Their quilting cottons can be a little boardy and kind of scratchy. So double bun grand ambassador. Exactly. Only on some days of the week though. I have mine folded so that the selvages are meeting here at the middle. The fabric is lighter. See, look at the face cam. See, it's got more of that blue background. The face cam's always a little brighter. This is closer to the light maybe, or it's the angle. It could be the camera. The cameras are always funkorama from each other. All right, so I printed out my pattern on some nice scrap paper. And then this way, because I'm taking out that back placket, I can get my front and my back across one length, you know, like one width of fabric. My size is such that that is very rare these days, but this is a wider fabric. All right, I am size F. Now, I will note that there are no letters on these lines, but I do know this goes up to G. So what I'm gonna do is just, don't I have a little highlighter I like to use? There it is. I've had this highlighter for really forever. So I'm just gonna kind of go over my size here so I notice it. You know, my highlighter's dying too. I really wanna lengthen this. Let's hope I remember to. Let's go like this. Especially at the corners. You know when you're about to turn the corner and then you just start cutting on the line you told yourself you weren't gonna cut? Who does that? Me, I do that. So I'm just gonna, this PDF, by the way, is one of those PDFs that I don't know why, but I've been sewing with you guys for 3 years. And before that, I don't think I'd ever sewn on a PDF pattern. I had done like plotted out like big copy shop ones. I think. Maybe not, actually. I don't think I'd even done that. I had never printed one out on my printer. The first time I did, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing's 46 pages. It was a Colette pattern. And I was like, no, I was such a big baby about it. And I put it aside. I used the scrap paper. And I have been sewing on PDF patterns now very regularly, every month for 3 years. And only this summer have I run across the kinds of PDFs that when you print it out, you line up the raw edge of the paper to the line, and it feels so wrong to do. And this is one of those. It works, but you can see even like, see how there's the raw edge? It doesn't even print up to that edge, but you line up this raw edge. I'm saying this just so you guys don't go crazy when you're printing, if you're kind of like me and you don't see these very often. But I feel like 2 of the companies that we've sewn this summer, it's either Wardrobe by Me or Love Notions or 5 out of 4. Two of those maybe does it like this, and I've never seen this before. So, oh no, maybe it was the blocks. Remember when we were doing the patterns for no. What was the custom block place? Not Patterns for Pirates. It just has a skull with an eye patch. So, yeah. What did you say, Lippy? Yeah, and it has layers. This pattern has layers. I don't know why. That's enough. Thank you so much for saying that, because when I clicked to download, it didn't go to Adobe Reader. It'll only do layers in Adobe Reader. And so at the top right-hand corner of that document reader that I could still print my pattern from, you will see a little thing that says open in Adobe Reader. Do that, and then you can click off the layers that you don't want. Free sewing. Thank you, Malin. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What a good bod. Okay, and Eliza, that trick does not work with this. So that's why I'm also saying that. So this right here, this page right here is one page. So these 2 edges line up to the black line under here. So this is literally the page right here. This is how it came out of my printer. Nothing's been trimmed off. You line up that raw edge to the black line. And same with over here. So you're always kind of lining up that top left corner with the black lines of the piece next to it. Yeah, it's a no-cut pattern, which in some ways people really love, Malin. But I agree. I started like trying to trim, and I was like, oh, I can't do that. I did that, and then I had to butt my pattern pieces together. So a lot of you are probably like, geez, I do these all the time. I have never seen these before, so they're a little bit out of my comfort zone. So just so you know that, it is pretty easy though. I mean, you just line it up. It got off a little bit, and I think that this is one thing, you know, I'm trying to look at the camera so I can see what you can see. You see how these triangles look off, and it's because if this triangle actually, you know, went all the way to the edge, it would be the same. See that? But because your printer doesn't print all the way full bleed, you have this little 1/8 of an inch space. All right, so that's my fair warning. All right, so let's see here. Here's a fold line and here's a fold line, but we need to find our center back. I'm surprised it's not marked on here. I'm gonna see if it's on the facing. Oh, okay. This facing goes, because it goes to the middle of your sleeve. I'm gonna find, I'm gonna try and find where it lines up. 3/8 inch. So this notch goes here. I think it goes about right there. Somewhere like that. And if this is folding, this is your seam allowance. Placket. So basically we can determine that the placket it's a little over 3/4 of an inch wide. So the center of it would be about right here, 3/8 of an inch in from this furthest fold line here. And that's where you're going to fold it and put it on the fold. That looks right, because then we would want to take the 3/8 of an inch off here. Making sure, it's kind of hard to see, like this is my problem right here. This is my shoulder seam. Like that. All right, so this, we don't need to do that. That's great. This is going to the middle there, so we'll just put this on the fold. So you're back facing. And then I drew my line 3/8 of an inch away from this fold line number 2. And that's going to be, because I'm putting my back on the fold. If you're not doing that, don't do this. Just leave your pattern pieces and you will be golden. All right. Plackets aren't hard to sew or anything either. You basically are just folding, and then stitching it down. All right, so let's see here. How much longer can I make this? The sleeve is basically a parachute. It's huge. And I need to make sure I can get both of my sleeves in the remaining fabric up there, so I can probably go up to here. You know, trying to decide. I'm probably going to put my sleeve off grain as well, just so you guys know. You don't have to. If your sleeve fits across, they have a length and a shorten line, and this is your length grain. My fabric isn't directional, so I'm just going to fit this on here the best I can. This is supposed to be about 1.6 meters, and I only had 1.4. Okay, so right about there. So actually, I can lengthen this quite a bit. That's great. So I think I'm just going to lengthen it about that much. I'm going to lengthen it like 4 inches. I can always shorten it, but it looks a little short to me. Okay, we're taking bets now to see if I remember to do this for both front and the back now. Let's hope. I almost started. Okay, I'm going to use my big ruler. And I'm just going to put a 4-inch parallel line to this hem length. And I'm going to make it so that it pretty much lines up with the original side seam here, because there's a gentle flare right here at the hem that kind of goes out. We didn't really lose that, we just dropped it straight down. I know I'm being a little cavalier, and it's just because I'm doing the entire cut and sew through today. I want to get to the sewing machine soon. I'm cutting out the size F. At least I hope I am. There's no marks on here. All right, so this is the back. I'm going to notch the center back here by just nipping across the center neck there. That way we have a place to line up our facing. Keeping my trash cans straight. There's not even notches for the sleeve back here. That's one indication that it's your back. There is one for the front though. Yeah, and someone had messaged me and said that they've seen this sleeve without the elastic at the hem, and they thought it looked really cute. So that's an option too. I'm lengthening this, I'm lengthening this, I'm lengthening this, I'm lengthening this. How many times have I said I'm doing that and then I do it to one and I don't do it to the other? Almost every time, right? Not this time. I will prevail. That is 4 inches. We got all layers. We're just gonna do it right now because I still have this impulse to just start cutting at the wrong spot. It's the same amount, right? It looks less. All right, and then just kind of lay this here, but you know what we can do is we can lay our back on here to ensure that they're going to sew together. Quick and dirty pattern drafting. My back is like a 1/4 of an inch longer. So let's smooth that out. We'll overlap it at the seam line. This is kind of a weird hem shape, to be honest. All right. This is the kind of top that I feel like there could be so many really great variations. You could put the elastic higher up from the hem and then it would, you know, do this, like a little bit of a ruffle at the bottom. Yeah, a nice flutter sleeve, exactly. I still want to cut that off. Whew, man, the urge. And what was the other thing I was thinking of? Well, I think also what would be really cute in the front, I'm kind of tempted to do this on mine, but I don't want to change this too much. I feel like there's already going to be a few people like, dang, I really need to know how to sew that placket. I'll talk to you about that when I'm there. All right, this is the front, and again, I'm going to nip across the center front here just as a guide, and then we will notch the armhole here so we remember this is the front. I'm just going to write a note to myself on here. Of what I did so that next time I sew this, I remember. It'll at least make me go, oh, wait a minute, what did I do here? Notes to my future self. All right, so now we have front and our back. And we just need our facings and the sleeve. This massive sleeve. You can even shorten the sleeve too. It looks like it comes to about like right here. And you can see in the photo, she has it pushed up above her elbow, but I've seen other people wearing it and it's kind of below. Hey, Terry, how's it going? Oh, really? What are you doing? Are you working on your blazer? I know you, don't I? Oh, right, Eliza? I know. There's something about it I like and something about it that's weird. All those hands. But I think exactly what Carrie said. It's such a crafter's thing to like something with hands on it, you know? All right, so we can put our facings here. So let's just put this on the fold temporarily. Before we do the sleeve. We have this one on the fold here. I think you could put the facing on the outside by the way I'm doing this right now. Nope, we're gonna put that actually on the original line. If this is too big or too small, we'll figure it out. And I can just cut it again. I'm gonna notch that shoulder line there. Okay. This facing is stitched down to the bodice. You only need to notch the center at the top neck. At least I'm going to. I find that a lot easier. It's nice to have that guide. This is the back here, right? So what I actually usually do on the back, I don't just nip across the neck. I usually put a notch that's 1/4 of an inch away from the center back, and then I know, oh, I have a double notch there, and that's my back. I don't usually have that V there. And then we need interfacing for these as well. Hey, Sydney, how's it going? You got a deadline. You will definitely get there because I'm cutting and sewing. You have plenty of time. Oh, Scaparelli, that's awesome. You're working on your, oh, you are. It does look pretty nice then, as a belt sleeve. You're not going to regret it, Terry. It's going to be great. I really do think it's going to be great. Okay, so I put this back just as 2 whole layers here. Don't forget you need to cut out your placket if you're using it. You could lengthen this sleeve too. This would be totally lengthenable. If you have a lot of fabric, you would kind of need a lot. I'm really surprised that this is on the length grain right there because you would have to cut like 1 width of fabric for each sleeve. That's a lot. But I mean, in some sizes, you might be able to get one of your backs to the left or right of your sleeve. I don't even know why I do cutting videos because I feel like I literally go off the rails when I do my cutting videos. I can't cut it. Oh, well, yeah, you could cut it cross grain as long as your directional print works. I think so, Barbara. You're sewing your cozy jacket today? Awesome. That's nice. You're printing out your pattern? That's nice, Malin. I know, I really got to get on it. I'm really glad I gave myself a whole week next week to kind of set up for the blazer sew along. Yeah, so if anyone wants to join us, we're all going to be sewing a blazer. And next week, I'm going to just work on like fitting it and kind of checking things out. But then after next week, it's going to be Saturdays only for the blazer. And then Wednesday, Thursday will be different projects, completely different. Okay, so do I want to lengthen this at all? I really can't much, but I'm going to do it as much as I can, which is basically about a 1/2 inch past the largest size. And yeah, I did that really quick and dirty. All right, do the side seams on the actual size line that I'm doing. Has anyone made anything from French Navy before? It looks like, I'm kind of sorry, I'm really far away for that. She's a South African, right? Or African, I think she's South African designer. So I didn't look into her very much. I was just like, oh, French Navy patterns. And then I kind of looked her up and just looked at her site. Okay, which size am I on? Oh, you know what, you guys? I'm cutting the wrong size. Look at that. I looked everywhere for this. And it's right here on the sleeve. Okay, so this actually has A through H, but it says, I'm positive it says, when you go to print it, A through G is what you're printing. I didn't print everything out because I don't print out all of the cutting layouts. There's just way too many cutting layouts. Well, hot diggity dog, this is going to be a little big for me. And I'm very much not enjoying how I'm cutting this out. Let's see. No, if you want to take the fullness out, you just need to maintain the integrity of this whole area here, and you would slash, oh my goodness. Okay, so draw your seam allowance in and slash up to that seam line of your neck. Overlap, remember this should be, your grain line should always be printed on in the center. What is going on with this sleeve? What's that? All right, I'm not gonna think about it. I'm not gonna think about it. No critiques of the pattern right now. So this right here, for me, shows that this is really the center. So you just wanna make sure that you evenly decrease the fullness so that your sleeve is still symmetrical, even though this one's not. So yeah, but you can. Hi, Martina. Yeah, they are massive. I know someone else recommended something else, and I was thinking, how would I even fit that? Because I was like, okay, wait, they might not be talking what I'm thinking they're talking. I mean, I kind of like hacked this right here, I will admit. So it looks like I'm making a size too big for me now. But you know what? Maybe I'll just do bigger seam allowance and I can do French seams. That is definitely a very dirty way to size down. I'm here for the quick and dirty today. Okay, so this is our piece of scrap for just in case we need to make any adjustments to the neck facing. Just cut off a little bit of here, clean it up. And we're pretty much ready to sew. Like I said, don't forget your plackets if you need them. Okay. You guys think, what do you think of this? This fabric will look okay? This is a cotton lawn that I got from Minerva as being a brand ambassador. And it's called Hands On. It's a Lady McElroy, Hands On, and it's in the color Midnight. And if you guys want to find me on Minerva, if you're ever looking for details, because it lets me tag something in there. You can find me on there. I think I'm So Sarami. You're using Starch and thinking of me? That's so funny, right? I'm gonna get some interfacing. It's funny since I've never used Starch in my life until last Saturday. Which I know a lot of people are like, what? But I just never have. I've never used it. It seemed like something, my grandma would use for her clothes. And then I've spent a lot of time with some local quilters, and when I'm at their sewing studio, they have so many different kinds of starch, and they have their favorites, and they'll have conversations about their favorite starches. I realized, okay, I don't know enough about this, but apparently it's very useful in the quilting world. So when I saw I've heard the tip millions of times, you should use starch on your knit fabrics to prevent rolling of the seams. And when I did last week's stream, I had you guys all, email me links to your favorite tips or tips you want me to try. And that was one of them. So I was like, all right, here, the day has finally come. I'm not a starch virgin anymore. All right, so let's iron on the interfacing. I'm gonna turn this light too. Move our project over to, oops, sorry guys. We can move the camera right now while we're waiting for that to heat up a little bit. Jeez. This all fits so well, and now I don't know why it doesn't fit as well. Oh, thanks, Martina. This is one of the first things I sewed 3 years ago, and I really like it. It's the Hawthorne dress by Colette Patterns. But I definitely wasn't as stocked with home sewing supplies at the time. So I can tell in a lot of my garments. I really like ironing my interfacing from the fabric side. I know it hangs off a little. It doesn't seem to bug my iron. I kind of get it stuck down and then I let it sit there. Okay. Look at these little fingertips. It's kind of creepy. I keep meaning to see if this fabric came in other colorways. I think I have another fabric that was in the line that I bought from Hearts Fabric, and it's the silhouettes of women. They're not even silhouettes, it's line drawings like this of women, and I have it in white with a green outline. So it's a white background, and then all the line drawings are like Kelly green. It's pretty cute. Oh yeah, my elastic's over here. All right. Oh, you use cotton organdy? Do you find that very easily? Where do you buy that? Do I have an iron I like? Well, like I say, I just use a Rowenta iron that I bought at Target. I've bought 3. So I have had one here, and I finally, it just, you know, maybe got dropped a few too many times. And then I bought one for my house, and then when I replaced this one, I just got the same one. I really like it. There's some really nice irons out there though. You could probably get something much nicer. But I'll tell you the things I look for in an iron is that it's heavy, it has really great steam, and I like the point to be pretty pointy. But heavy is key. I feel like we push, and I don't need to push or anything, and steam. Heavy and steam are the two things. Oh, okay, Rebecca. Yeah, I don't think I've seen cotton organdy for sale for like 20 years. I'm sure it's out there, but it's just not something, you know, it's like batiste. I don't see batiste anymore. Oh, you mean iron on interfacing. I like woven. I actually use a lot more of it than I used to. Oh, really, Mafio? Welcome, by the way. Sewing Out Loud, is that an online fabric store? Yeah, so I like woven. So basically, it's fabric. It is so much nicer than like Pellon. I have the Pellon too. I think now I will always buy this though, and I have it for knits as well. It makes me like fusible interfacing. Let's put it that way. So I don't really like sewable or fusible interfacing, and I would rather use fabric. I would just use like another layer of the self, or maybe one that's a slightly got more body. Honestly, I use a bunch of Spoonflower poplin, because when I used to order our fabric for chicken boots, and say I ordered 90 yards, you never want to see the bill for 90 yards of Spoonflower fabric, by the way. But I would order 90 yards of one print, 90 of another, 90 of another, you know, for the whole group. And I think because of the way their rolls were set up, probably their rolls are like 95 yards. There would be this extra chunk, and they would include it. And it was just unprinted. And I still have some of it. It works so great. Sewing Out Loud. Oh, it's a podcast. That's awesome. I'll have to check that out. You see Batiste frequently. That is so funny, Aisha. Hi, Louise. No, well, I'm about to. I'm about to start sewing. If I stop talking. Oh, you bought some today for a knit project that's coming up. What did you buy? Oh, I can't find my mouse. All right. So let's see. Do you want me to follow the directions and at least do in the order? Let me just breeze through here. And the instruction illustrations are really nice. I printed it all out for some reason too. So I'm using the interfacing. Check, did that correctly. And if you're putting it on your button placket, you want to do that as well. You're not late at all, Janice. You're never late here. Yeah, and I just started sewing, which is the fun part, right? You're going to stay stitch the neckline, and that includes, don't forget, the top of your sleeves has neckline on them. Wait, there's darts? Wait. There's no darts on this top. Did you guys see darts? There's no darts. What the heck? O for H to O only. Wow, the latency is so good. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, size HO only. So your darts. All right, bodice to sleeves, facing, placket, underarm. Okay. All right. I don't think we've done French seams with raglans. That's something new. All right, so if you need your darts, do your darts. Okay, cool. Sorry for the confusion. I want darts. I feel kind of left out now. Okay, this is the front sleeve, and this is the front bodice. And these pieces are huge. I'm like trying to keep track, you know. Okay, this one goes to this one over here. All right, so we're gonna put this wrong sides together. I'll probably just do all my armholes first. And then we can do the ironing all at the same time. I need a piece of scrap fabric. Do I say that every time lately? It goes up to, do you want imperial or metric, Janice? It went up to almost I think a 58-inch bust. I'm making the size F. No, I'm not. Well, I could swear that when you printed it out, it said A to G and then H to O. So there, I didn't see a, why isn't this matching? This is the front. That is the front. Why isn't that matching? That's already concerning. I didn't change the armholes. Let's check the back. So I thought I was cutting out the size F, but apparently I was cutting out the size G. So now I'm just going to use 5/8 inch seam allowance, which is cheating. This is the sleeve, and this is the back, right? Oh, you know what? This is the front. I forgot, only my back facing has the double notch at the neck. That's what I was looking for. I just noticed that mine didn't have the double notch at the neck, and I was like, oh, this is the front. Yeah, it's got a lot of sizes. Yeah, Janice, that last one. Oh, welcome, Nicole and your mom. Hello, hello. Yeah, the last project, there are a few more sizes in the PDF, but I admit there's not very many. You just need to write exclamation point drink. You'll get the command. Get those mods on it. All right, so this is the back. I don't know why these pattern pieces are, they all look about the same. This is the thing with raglans. I should know this. Okay, so this is the front, and this is the front. All right, we're back on track. When you do a project like this and the sleeve isn't really, really full, and it has raglans, it's even more confusing. Raglan sleeves look like the bodice a lot. There you go. I'm sure Ray's here somewhere. She's just probably lurking or watching on her TV. I just try not to think about those folks who have me on some gigantic TV in their living room. All right. It's a little bit of a curve there. So let's say, let's do this. We're going to take this tag and we're going to take this binder clip and we're going to put this on the front so we know that that's the front. Just a very visual thing. This thing's like, it feels like a squirrel suit. Brunch? Yeah, I think I agree, Carrie. There's some streams I used to sometimes watch through my PlayStation, and same thing. Then I'd end up opening my phone, and I'm like, okay, this is like not doing the intended thing, which was laying low. So just make it easier for yourself so you can just get back to what you're trying to focus on, you know? Wait, I knew that felt funny right there. It felt like it was matching. Why am I having so much trouble? This is the front, right? Yeah. Why did that one match? What the heck? You know what it is, you guys? It's because I'm not using the correct seam allowance. No, it's not. It would still work. Just going crazy. This one worked just fine. Is this the back? This is boding so badly, especially since I forgot my lunch today. So the story with the seam ripper command being drink is twofold. So a long time ago, I had this one particular project. I have no idea what garment it was. Nancy was there because Nancy is a part of coming up with this command. I had used my seam ripper so much. And Nancy often has said when she first started watching me that she really liked that I just unabashedly use my seam ripper. We all should, honestly. Yeah, like it's no big deal, right? Is Nancy here? Hello, Nancy. Yeah. Okay, this is the sleeve. So I think she quipped, we should make this a drinking game. And so that's kind of how that started. And then on top of that, we started talking about, in another stream, about who invented the seam ripper and just what a beautiful human being they were who invented the seam ripper. And we learned that it was a man named, was it Thomas? His last name is Miller. Hi, so Esme, how's it going? And so we learned that the seam ripper was designed by someone named Miller, so which got the quip of, you know, Miller Time, which is a beer here in the United States, and it's a popular ad campaign from a long time ago. It would be Miller Time, right, for time to have a Miller. So, so that's also how this command got there. Right, Nancy? Yeah. So I don't know what project that was. Okay, so this is my front. These are my sleeves right here. I am now, my head is screwed on straight. I literally just showed you how easy it is to confuse the sleeve for a bodice, like that I was just telling you about. On raglans, they really are confusing, especially because they only put notches on the front, weirdly. Usually people over notch, not under notch like that. Even if you just put back notches on your back sleeve and your back bodice, they don't even have to line up, just put them there, and then that way you'll remember. Double notch means back. Hi Amy, how's it going? Yeah, they are, that's so true. They are apparently not helping me much. Hands of mischief. Right? Yeah, it's just another tool. Yep. All right. But here's the benefit for those folks who don't like setting in a sleeve. You don't have to do that with raglans. It's kind of nice. I just don't see them drafted correctly a lot. I'm not saying this one's drafted not incorrectly at all. Like, I have no clue. All right, so we're gonna put the label on the back. And so now I have a very clear, my binder clip is the front neck and my label is the back neck. Should we try it on? I don't have underarm seams yet. Ooh. Yes, I am. How are we going to make this fit? I'm doing French seams, yeah. All right, so let's iron these. Yeah, just do, yeah, make your own notches for sure. Well, and also maybe just at least, maybe even just put a Post-it note, you know? Yeah, and this is a free pattern. I think I missed Martina's comment, but I saw your reply. I'm going to reach for my seam ripper. I'm going to trim these down just a little bit. It wasn't very accurate. Pull up the stream on my phone. There we go. The side seams aren't done yet, Martina. There's hope. All right, so I'm just going to trim down these seam allowances a little bit since I'm doing French seams. If you're sewing this with the actual seam allowances, you only have 3/8. So you can just do your seam, finish it how you want. Pretty sure these are only 3/8. Ah, thanks for subscribing, eWhip. Welcome, welcome. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. You know what's really funny is lately I've been like, I don't really feel like, I keep forgetting my allergy medicine, but I've actually been feeling pretty good and I don't think I really need it. And then I've been sneezing a little bit lately. It finally dawned on me this morning, like, you silly. I took it today though. I think it's the smoke. The smoke makes me sneeze a little bit. All right, so that's all 4, right? I trimmed this one here. I'm gonna trim that a little bit more even. Right there. Fabric selection is critical. The cover one is done in a spoon flower print. It's pretty cute. All right, so I just ironed my seam allowance going one direction. I'm just pushing it away. Doesn't matter which way. Just push it one way. Makes sewing French seams a lot easier. Just do it really quick. One more. Where is it? Yes, there are, Louise. I totally agree with you. It's kind of what made me decide to do it because I actually kind of like this style top. I'm not big on really full sleeves, and I do like how this one doesn't have the gathers at the top. Oh, nice. Yeah, so today is the last day for the 20% off coupon at Hearts Fabric. And the code is SOSO20. Right? That's what it was. Right? Or is it 20 SOSO? It's good for almost everything. Like, not gift cards and sale stuff, but everything else. And it's just good through today. I don't have it on the screen since they're not sponsoring this stream. And I wasn't sure how they'd feel about me putting their code on a stream where I'm using my Minerva fabric. SOSO20. Okay, thank you. Good thing it expires today. I think writing codes in chat like that can get them picked up, you know. Hearts Fabric is a fabric store in California, and they're just very kind. They send us a lot of projects, and then the Chaco jumpsuit that I sewed this week was one of them. So they'll send me the fabric, they send me the pattern, all the notions. I make it, and then I send it back to them. They get to keep it. It hangs in their store, and you know, if you're there, you can even try it on. It's really nice and generous, and what's great is that we get to sew a wider variety of projects because they're sending us things and in fabrics that maybe none of us would have known about before. It's awesome. I didn't even really, I had never really thought about sewing deer and doe. Like, I don't even know if I'd heard of them. And they're really big fans of deer and doe. They've sent me quite a few of their patterns. The saffron jeans, the mellow low top. I've done the Azara. That was one of my needle sharp subscription boxes. We just did the Chaco jumpsuit. We did another one, right, you guys? You could use it on notions. Pleats to meet you. That's cute. Oh, really? That's a bummer. Did you have a lot of, like, did you have a wet winter? All right, so you see that I just ironed it right after I pressed it one way. I ironed it on the edge. It makes it nice and easy, crisp. Oh, the opium coat. That was kind of epic. That one had that funky neck thing that I figured out. You know, I wish I could go back and re-sew some of the things I sewed, you know, babysitting me. Revisit some of these. All right, let's do all 4 seams here. Isn't there, here it is, yep. This is how you make the sewing last longer too, is you do the French seams. Oh, really, Carrie? The Dixie is massive, but I don't really feel like it's the one we're throwing all of our efforts at right now. It's the Caldor Fire. It's pretty bad. There's always more critters out there on Saturdays. Catch my eye. Did I tell you I saw George? So in case you guys don't know, I have this deer that comes to my yard sometimes. He kind of just appeared one day. Someone must have raised him, like, you know, like fostered him or something, because he goes right up to you, makes you pet him and scratch at the base of his horn, his antlers. It was a little unsettling. And I saw him the other day out in our little, like, orchard eating, I'm pretty sure, the pomegranate tree. And I was waiting for my friend who was arriving. Look at this neckline. Seam didn't really quite match. This is not my best sewing, I have to admit. All right, Carrie, thanks. You get the fabric bits. Trim your seam first, Janice. You think, Beverly? Which ones would you like to revisit? Please don't make me do something I don't want to do. I feel like in some ways I would like to do the Caroline pajama top, like, and but at the same time, like, I don't know, I've helped out plenty of their customers, you know what I'm saying? They don't care. Okay, so here we go. We have all of our armhole seams here, and you probably have a, you know, button placket, so that makes it really obvious what's the back for you. So now we can do, I'm gonna do the facing all at once. So we can do the side seams, and this is kind of the same thing. You're gonna make sure you fold it so that it's the sleeves facing each other, right? Not the bodice. So I have my label and my pin there to know that those are the bodice. Oops, I thought I just put the wrong sides together. But I also feel like I haven't looked at that stream, the Caroline pajama, but I'm, you know, I'm curious. Yeah, yeah, Janice, I get threads sometimes too. I don't even notice them, and then later on, like months, I'll be like, oh, I had threads poking out. Yeah. Just trim it a little better. Some fabrics are a lot easier to manage than others, like this one here. You can see more, my machine was having a little trouble there. You can see more threads here where it's cut more on the length grain. I don't even know if you can see that really. So when you cut your seams at certain angles, you're going to get less threads, like on the bias or something, than you do on the length or cross grain. So some seams may be worse than others. The front and back pieces are not the same. They just look very similar. Why doesn't that match up? What in the heck? This is what I saw. This is a problem. I said I'm not going to think about it. Okay. Maybe I got my PDF printed, like taped together weirdly. That must be it. Yeah. matches perfectly at the underarm and the side seam of the bodice. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna, I'm kind of pained right now and it's hard. Oh my gosh. Sorry. That's rare for me to feel that way. That's the pattern drafter in me having a little bit of a nervous breakdown there. We're just gonna move forward. So don't panic. I'm kind of panicky right now, but yeah. I don't know what to say. I'm gonna pretend like it's gotta be me, right? It's gotta be my error. Seeing as, yeah, I don't know. All right. I'm just trimming my little back stitch threads here so they don't poke out. This fabric is pretty thin, so it's not a problem now to push both seam allowances toward the same direction. If you if you have a fabric that's any thicker than this, like say you're doing, and I wouldn't recommend a quilting cotton, but you could use a quilting cotton on this top probably. It would just probably be a little heavier, but it is voluminous enough that I think it would be okay. You might want to offset these seam allowances here because this is only my first pass, so when I turn it and go on the last pass, it's going to be even thicker. I'm also using an industrial machine. I kind of know the limits of my thicknesses, so it's okay if you want to offset, push one towards the bodice and one towards the sleeve. It's at the underarm, no one's going to see that, and it'll make it less bulky there. It's nice. Okay, here we are on this other underarm of the sleeve. I just gotta look at it just for a second, okay? I just want to look at it really quick. Did I cut the wrong underarm? Maybe I cut the wrong underarm. Doesn't look like it. It's the same one. All right. All right, so that's awesome, Martina. I haven't fixed it. I'm about to. I'm just taking a deep breath right now. This is pretty rare. If you're new here, this is pretty rare that this has happened. So you're seeing a rare moment. We have to fix it somehow. So this is what we're gonna do. If you cut the H size, I cut the F. Oh, I accidentally cut the H. Well, the thing is I cut the same size everywhere. So here's that underarm. Okay, there was already a problem with this pattern here because the juncture of this underarm wasn't a smooth transition. So even if this lined up, there would have been a point here. So say this lined up, it would have been like this. I hope you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. You see that? This is the underarm. It would have looked like that. That's a problem anyway. So we're just gonna make this a little bit better. So I'm just gonna back it up here. You really want a right angle. So we'll make it like that, a nice smooth transition. It says in the instructions that it's pretty difficult to hem this sleeve. Sorry. I'm sorry. I can see why. But this has got to be something I did. I don't know. I don't think so, but so you need that smooth transition. So we were going to do this anyway, right? The problem is we got to be able to turn this up because of the elastic, and I just don't see that. really don't see that. Let's see. This is going to be hard. Just how it is. I don't feel. I'm reading your chat. Bye, Libby. See ya. Thanks for coming. I don't feel very magical right now, you guys. Come on. I'm probably going to reprint that sleeve out, though, because I need to know what happened. All right, so I'm going to trim the seam allowance here. I definitely need to do that because it's a little bit misaligned with that hem shaping. That hem shaping is for when you turn up the sleeve for the elastic part. So you do need that little, this little like hem shape. This isn't it, sorry, this is the bottom of the bodice. So down here, can you see this little point there? The weird thing is, it's going, I'm pretty sure, well, see when this folds up, it's supposed to line up like that. We'll see. A pinball wizard. What does that mean? Alright, trimming our seam allowance. Yeah, I don't want to say that the pattern's wrong because maybe I just printed it weirdly. When I folded it in half to show you where to decrease the fullness though, that was made me kind of definitely stop in my tracks because it wasn't symmetrical. And the underarm of your sleeve has to be symmetrical. It sews to each other. There's no way around that. There's nothing at all. Like there's no free pass there. It has to match. This whole seam sews together, so it has to match. So fine, don't put the center of the sleeve centered or whatever, you know, do funky things like that, but you still have to have the underarm match. So that's why I'm like, okay, maybe I just printed printed it badly. It didn't tape, it taped weird, but it wasn't wrong. It just was different for me, that's all. This is a little harder to press your seam. So when I have to press my seam and it's sewn together, I just offset. So here's one seam and here's one seam. I just offset them from each other, flatten out the shirt as much as possible underneath there, and then just iron through all layers. And then I just flip it over. I leave it since I've already spent the time lining it up, and then I do the other side. Try not to get any wrinkles on the other side, but you might. It'll be okay. Oh, right, Nancy? Oh, that's why I was like, hi, I've heard that. Isn't that a song? Oh my God. You guys are funny. You guys are goofballs. I love it. There's like 72 people here. It's probably the most we've had. Always with the sewing drama. You guys are ruthless. You love sewing drama. Well, who's ever in the Patreon group today, you're going to see me probably noodling on that sleeve. Yeah, welcome everybody. Usually, I cut a project on Wednesdays, and we sew part 1 on Thursday, part 2 on Saturday. But today we're doing the whole thing. And when I get to my machine, I have a face cam and all that, if you like that kind of thing. All right. So I'm just ironing that underarm seam because I pressed it one direction, and now this just makes the French seam so much easier. But here's, you know, this is that juncture I was talking about here. So if it's too thick for you, just press one seam allowance going one way. It's totally fine to do that. Because remember, the sleeve hangs down this way. Yeah, you know, you'll have a seam allowance pressed over here and kind of crossing, kind of looking like it's twisted, but I promise you just won't feel that. It's much better to have that than to have the frustration of trying to sew a really thick seam and just being really discouraged by that. No late night tears. That's, you know, one of our mottos here. No late night tears. No sitting at your machine at 11:30 at night crying. I mean, if you have to have a good cry, do it. That's fine. I'm just saying, we're not there to help you and cheer you on, so it'd be nice if we could avoid that, you know. So, all right, so now we're gonna sew this underarm seam here. I am using a wider, I'm pretty sure it was a 3/8 inch seam allowance. I'm using a wider seam allowance because I cut a larger size. I think I ran out of bobbin just now. Did I? My thread's a little heavy for this cotton lawn. I can kind of see because the stitches look a little bit wiggly. So my needle and my thread are probably a little bit heavy for this project. So a lot of my thread I use is left over from things I used to do. So I'm not going to replace it all. But I thought this was a lighter weight, but I think it is the Tex 40. Usually you would use like a 27, I think. And more like a size 14 needle, and I think I have a 16 in. 80, wow. That's pretty cool. So most people we've ever had here. If you like to sew, join us. Say hi. Ooh, yeah, that would be nice, Amy. I like that idea. You're keeping, oh, there it is. I thought I heard the bobbin about to go. That's okay. We got one ready to go here. Let me just set up my other one to wind. Yeah, I feel like I did see someone in the hashtag sew it in a see-through. This is not what I would normally test my sewing out on, but I don't know why. I don't have a little like thing here. I think, you know what, I'm pretty sure I decided I threw it in that the scrap things we were making last week. Nice, Michelle. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. That's great. Yeah, if you ever what's going on? Not you too. Come on. If you ever have a suggestion for a how-to, please suggest it. I like making those. Don't you love how I sewed that test on that fabric and then, did it even work? I didn't even check. I just assumed. So the one thing I'm going to use my serger for today is attaching the elastic to the sleeve. And I don't think you have to do it that way. If you want a clean finished casing, I think that's a really nice touch on a sleeve like this. I'm only going to show it to you because I think that in this kind of elasticized sleeve cuff, it's a little easier to manage and it lays flatter. And I think that if you don't have a serger, it's totally fine. You can just make a casing, you know, fold up your sleeve hem, stitch it down and put your elastic in there, right? Well, I use 16 a lot because I have so many, Nancy, and because my machine is calibrated for 16s and 18s, it's optimal for 16. So yeah, you're fine with what you use. A 16 on denim is great. I have an itch right here. It just won't go away. So let's see. We're going to do our facing now. I feel like I lost one of my facings. But you guys, this sleeve, like what is going on? Look at all my lines line up. It's not me. But we'll see. I'm going to check it later. What did I do with the other facing? Is it here? Here's one. Oh. Hello? Oh, here it is. I found it. I have my elastic ready as well, and I think it was, there's a elastic cut lengths for each size. But you might want to figure out where you want it to. I'm not there yet, so you have time to figure that out. I'm just going to be doing the facing now. So we're going to sew the shoulders together. And this is one thing I did differently on this. I put the center back on the fold just so that I'm not doing the button placket because I didn't have enough fabric for it. And I figure, yeah, you know, they say you can pull this over your head. I'm not really about that back button placket life either because it's really uncomfortable to sit against it. Not that I go anywhere. I go here. Yeah, that's the main mod I'm doing, Louise, is that I did the center back on the fold. And that's pretty much it. I'm doing a little bit of a sizing shenanigans, you know. But as far as the garment goes, and I showed at the beginning how I figured out if it'll go over my head. But yeah, I just sewed a facing together and then pulled it over my head. So now we're going to check, because I had to, there's no center mark on the placket. So I had to kind of figure out where I thought that center was going to, where the facing needed to line up. I thought, wasn't it my facing that I did put the double notch on? Oh yeah, I did. There it is. Okay. All right. So this is like the moment of truth here. I'm going to put a few pins in just to check it out. If you're new here, that's my machine. It just comes down when it gets bored of waiting for me. All right, so the shoulder line is almost perfect. Just put a few pins in here. Look at that. It's a little bit off. That could be because I didn't put my stay stitch in my neck. It's manageable. And then we want the facing to lay nice and flat though. That is one thing. You really can't make too many adjustments to a facing without making sure it lays nice and flat, because it'll be really funky on the inside of your garment if it's not. Look at that, right to the center. Well, shazam. We're gonna keep this clip here so we know that's the front. If any garment I've sewn needs a back label, this one's it, right? Like I can't skip the back label this time. I need some pins. I've been using the ones sitting here on my machine. There we go. All right. Cool, and I'm gonna press my seams towards the sleeves, and I'm gonna start on my sleeve as well. So this is sleeves. This is another way I'll be able to tell what is the bodice and what is the sleeve is when the seams are pressed towards it. All right, and so make sure it's nice and flat. You stitch this facing down to the garment at the end, so you know what I mean? Like, you need this flat. But I steered you correctly at the beginning on how to put the back facing on the fold. That's the sleeve, right? Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just pressing that seam towards the sleeve. Is this my other sleeve? Yep. Basically, where you have your seams of your facing, technically that's your shoulder line, so you know that's another way to reinforce that that's the sleeve. The raglans just make every piece look the same, so like you saw me in the beginning, sewing the back as if it was a sleeve to the front. Who did that? I didn't do that. What are you talking about? All right. All right, gonna clip your neckline. Don't skip this. Just clip it. I don't know what's up with those, but something's funny with them. Really, you want to focus on the curves. You don't have to do it at those nice flat spots there. You can if you want. It doesn't hurt or anything. You just want to really focus on it, on these curves. And the more clips you have, the better it'll turn. My seam allowance is so good there, isn't it? Okay, that's why. 3/8, half. You know. Walter! All right. Nice. Thanks again, Walter. I really appreciate it. A few more feet of binding, really, to hand sew your quilt. Nice. That's awesome. I can't believe you're hand sewing that. You are a better sewist than me, man. I say that, but I feel like I've grown a lot. You know, I'm more interested in hand sewing now. And I appreciate the way it looks. And I've done it a few on little tiny gift things. All right, so we're going to understitch it. So we're going to press the seam allowance towards the facing. And we're going to stitch on the facing. I always start at a shoulder seam. And this is just going to pull the facing to the inside. Because this facing is stitched down at the perimeter, you don't have to do that, but that is part of the look of this pattern. You might want to edge stitch this instead, because I think that edge stitching a facing like this or a neckline is not more appropriate, but it's definitely an appropriate way to do it, because it kind of mimics that perimeter stitching of your facing to the bodice, and it looks good. I love top stitching myself, so all right, my clip is off the garment. My clip is off the garment. Clip down. Which one's the front? It must be this first section. All right. Can you guys see okay? Is it bright enough? I can bring you guys closer. Pretty sure that this is the front right here. Yeah. All right. So if you're doing the placket at the back, I'm pretty sure what you do is because the placket isn't a part of the neck facing, and typically the neck facing would be as one with the placket, but in some ways this is kind of a little bit easier. So you could turn the facing to the neckline, and then you're going to sew that perimeter and finish it, and then you can hem the placket over the facing, and it just is enclosed, which is nice. I haven't put the tag on yet, but I'm going to. I don't know, here it is, it's right here. So I think that this is the center here. So now I could overlock this edge and then just top stitch it down, or I can turn it under and top stitch it down. I'll let you guys decide. Really, Nancy? You know, I think I'm going to do that. You do have a suggestion? You have a tunic you really like. You think it needs darts? Yeah, so do you have a way, Do you have a way to try it on to pinch the darts in? So I would put the garment on inside out for sure. And make sure that you have that garment on as symmetrical as possible, meaning like your side seams are in the same spot on each side, your shoulders, all that, and it's kind of falling, you know, naturally on your body. And then pin your darts in there, and then you can sew them. So you might, if you're going to do it at the side seam, you're probably going to have to undo your side seam, and that's probably going to be a problem if it's a, because if you pinch a dart at your side seam, you just made that side seam shorter, and it's not going to sew to the back anymore. So you have to be really careful with that. Depends on what you're talking about with your darts. If you need it in the armhole, same thing. If it goes to a sleeve, it's not going to work anymore. But if it's a sleeveless garment, you said it's a tunic, maybe you're thinking of doing like fisheye darts down the center, or you know, like on either side of the center of the front or the back. You can totally do that. I do that a lot, actually. The adjustment my body needs is a horizontal dart, which is not customary. So I sometimes have to do some crazy things, and I usually do fisheye darts, and they will start about my shoulder blades and then go down through the hem. I think I'm going to get some of that. Like, I saw someone, I think it was Generates, in the Sew Over 50 group. And then also, is it not Anna Maria Horner, Carolyn Friedlander. She has like a something, I don't know. Yeah, you hand sewed a whole garment. That's pretty cool. Oh, you guys are such tryhards. Well, Nancy, now that you bring it up, it's probably going to be an issue, right? We'll see. All right, so what do you guys think? Do you want me to overlock the perimeter of the facing and top stitch it down, or turn under the edge? Or do you care? I'll let you guys decide. I think vents would be really nice in this, actually. You know, just like a little side slit. I lengthened this, Louise, 4 inches. Turn under? All right. So to turn it under, I'm going to stitch around the perimeter at the, just inside where I want to turn it under. All right, we got 2 versus 2 now. Wait a minute. Yeah, but Malin, it's all about the peaceful part, right? The voting has begun. I should have mods do a poll, because I just saw that at the bottom. I'm gonna do a poll. Let's just try it. Is it asking you a poll? Well, I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Oh, I feel so fancy. Hi, Nikita. You would like to do the under? All right. You guys better vote. I know, Nancy probably did jinx me. Is it at the top? Isn't it? Look at the top of the chat window. People are voting. What was my question? Oh, I asked that wrong. I'm asking again. God, I'm such a nerd today. Such a dweeb. Yeah. Just a minute. Let me ask again. I have to ask a yes or no question. I'm only going to ask it this way so that it's a yes or no question. Okay. Oh, sorry. There we go. But I asked you the question incorrectly. I said both. When I was writing that question, I was like, make sure it's only one way, and I still wrote turn under, so I'm sorry. It's a lot managing a stream and sewing. Just want, you know, to remind you. No, I know you don't need reminding. I've gone to Hollywood. Better start wearing makeup and dyeing my hair then. Can you imagine? I have a feeling I know what you guys are going to vote now. All right, 10 more seconds. This is fun. We're going to do this more often. I like this. I feel like I've missed saying hi to so many of you, so I apologize. Oh, thanks, Sarah. There's some little buns today. I just twist it and clip it. It's just so, I can't wear my hair in a ponytail. It really hurts my head. I don't know about you guys. All right, now I'll end it. So what was my question? Let's see, it'll pop up. It is, it's choose your own adventure sewing. We did that once. I can't remember on what. Did it show up the results? There we go. Should I turn on and clean? Okay, yeah. I really appreciate those no votes though. All right, so I'm gonna put a little stitching parallel to this raw edge here. You don't have to do that. I'm just gonna show it this way just in case maybe you're doing something that is a particularly severe curve, like a hem even. You can do this on a hem. I know some folks don't like doing the hems of like a shirt tail hem. This is one way that can kind of give you like a helping hand to do it. So I'm just going to put a parallel line of stitching just inside that turn under amount of 3/8 inch. You can even break it up into, you know, like maybe start and stop at the shoulders on both sides. That would actually be a smart thing to do because it's kind of a big length. You'll see why. I'm just going to overlap my stitching a little bit. And then, yeah, I probably should have just done it starting here, like away from where my seam allowance is turned back because it's a little easier to pull then. So we'll just pull out some of it here. I acted like it was gathering. And we're just going to give ourselves a little bit of you know, turned under. So if I just pull this a little bit, we're going to pull it a lot at first and kind of get it, slide it down there. You don't even need to do this very much because even just stitching it might be enough for what you're doing. I can have sound effects. Oh yeah, we did the bag. You know, I looked once and saw how many people have downloaded that bag. I had the viewers design a bag right at the beginning of like spring last year, right? And I did everything you guys wanted and then I made it a free pattern. It was a really involved bag. Nancy. It says it takes 1.6 meters, Louise. I had 1.4 and that's why I am doing the back on the fold. All right, so that's kind of a lot right there, but you can already see that it's kind of cupping under. And then it just makes it really easy when you go to iron it that you have this little top stitch or this little stitching line. So like I said a second ago, you sometimes don't even need to draw up these threads, just the act of putting in the stitching. And you can even change your tension on your machine. If you're doing this on even lighter weight fabrics, it works great. Put your tension up, or your stitch length, shorten your stitch length, and then sew. And then sometimes just doing that kind of helps it turn under. But just having that little row of stitching there really helps the turning under part. All right, so we'll just do that a little bit there. And then, like I said, I think it's smart to start and stop at these thicknesses here, because the interfacing for me, this is going to be kind of hard to draw that up a little bit. I'm not going for gathers, right? I'm just wanting a little bit of tension to kind of help it turn under and it not be a big old pain in the butt. Now, this is exactly the kind of thing I would have skipped for years doing, thinking, I don't really need to do that. and I didn't, right? But then I would sit there and take forever to actually do the next step. And this, just taking this little bit of time, I'm the type of person that likes to feel productive, and this keeps me feeling like, oh, I'm still working on my project and I'm not frustrated. You know, it's like way more productive feeling than struggling with it, trying to get it sewn without any like points. Like I really want this to be a nice curved edge, especially if you decided maybe to do this in a contrast. Like maybe you did this in a contrast, or maybe you just want the facing on the outside because you're doing yours on the fold. Your back is on the fold as well, so all you have is this facing, right? So you could stitch it on the right side, just as kind of an interesting detail. You would want this curve to be nice and smooth, right? And if you don't do this, you might get a kind of a, you know, some points and choppiness in that turn under edge. I'm not gathering it. I'm just drawing it up a little bit. In fact, there's no gathers in it. It looks like it, but it's still smooth. The edge where the stitch line is still smooth. So I just go from each shoulder seam. It's really these curved areas right here between the center front and the shoulder that you have to worry about. I did not change the stitch length for this, but you can. Especially if you don't have the interfacing in there, and say you're just hemming a shirt and you're just like, I just don't feel like struggling today. You could do this little line of stitching just inside the fold line of your hem, and then do the stitch length much shorter. Yeah, and you can do that method that Terry's describing as well. Yeah. It's so interesting when I see, I've done that before, but it's been years. I find that my presser, or my feed dogs, help gather things up as well. All right, so now we're just gonna iron this down. I'll bring my pin cushion over. We could probably use some pins for this. And doing this on an ironing board would probably be a little easier too, rather than this mat that I'm doing. I'm looking for the salami. Here it is, whatever this thing is. So I'm going to start kind of at the shoulder here. And what I like to do is I kind of like to just pin it in a few key areas. So here's the shoulder seam, right? I'm going to use my little stubby pins. It'd be nice if there were notches on the perimeter there, you know, but you don't really want notches there. I'm just going to do it at each of these seams. That way I know I'm getting it nice and flat. I'm kind of spreading it out like this to make sure. Then I'll go and pin in between. Yeah, that tip actually, you're right, Terry, that actually works pretty good. I don't think I could even demonstrate it, because you're pulling it, right? You're like, or you're pushing it. I feel like I always did the reverse. All right, where's my other, here we go. Remember, your seams are pressed towards the sleeve. Yeah, you're pushing it. Yeah, it's almost like you're not giving the fabric a place to go, and so it kind of bunches it up a little bit, but not bad. I think it works better on a home machine, but I could be wrong. Do you use that method a lot, Terry? Like, has it become something you always use? Now, if you get this edge and it's a little too gathered up, just, you know, pop the, I'm just cutting the tail because it doesn't really matter now. You can just pop that stitch, like just pull it and pop it. Or clip it, you know. Really, Nancy? Did you ever try sprout patterns when they were doing their thing? You know, like where the pattern pieces were printed on the fabric? So then you just cut it out. It was pretty cool. You can really tell that I don't have my stitching in this little section right before the seam here. It's definitely less cooperative. You know, here, and this is another way you could do this. Just ironing up this edge. I don't know why I didn't do this first. You should iron this edge up. What the heck am I thinking? I don't know why I just skipped this. I was like, why is this a little harder than usual? Iron up this edge right along that stitch line. In fact, I'm gonna get rid of my pins. I'm gonna start this over. It's so funny. I don't know why I was just doing that. It shouldn't be that hard. It wasn't that hard, but it shouldn't even be really that hard. Like once you start, let me get rid of some of this here. Once you start ironing it up, it'll probably just lay down on there. Because I've done this and I don't even need pins in some situations. Then slide it all the way to the edge of that stitching. You still want a nice even width facing, you know? Because remember, the stitching is going to show on the right side. So it's really a nice touch if it looks parallel to the neckline. This is when you're like, oh, why did I want the steamy iron? This is when I want my ironing board too. Just cutting the tails of these threads. Do you guys, if you guys watched that video I did on the camisole by Love Notions, and it's an uploaded video, I had to fast forward that at 800% when I did the pinning of the fabric straps. It didn't really take that long, but it felt like it when I was watching the editing. I was like, oi, this is like so long. And when you see me speed up a video, it's usually at 400%. I did that at 800%. Just like presto. Okay, there we go. See, right when you see these little fold over pieces there, that's your indication that you're getting a point. You can see it right there. But you know, you can smooth that out as you sew as well, using an awl or a pin. And the reason why you get that is because you got to think about this cut edge right here, when it's folded in towards the facing, where it's landing, it's longer there. It's longer than what it's folding to. And that's why you have all that extra ruffly fabric, you know. It's going good, Sydney. How's your errands going? Smoother armholes? Yeah, we smoothed the armholes. I really like these pins too. You offered to pay your son. All right, you guys. I used to hate the cutting part too, but now I find it to be one of the most creative parts of the process because that's when you get to make your decisions, right? And decide things and see your fabric coming together, you know? Let's see if we can do this with just 4 pins. What do you think? I'm gonna get this turned under. Nice and flat. So I kind of flatten out as much of the neckline as I can. It's really awkward. I have my garment right side out right now, so I'm looking at the inside here, so it's nice and flat, because I don't have an ironing board here, or set up at least. Because otherwise I would just have this inside out and around the narrow point of the ironing board. So right here, this is a little too gathered, so I just stretched that and popped the stitch. You don't want it too gathered because you don't want it to pull up. Get that little press there. 1 pin. Does iron-on interfacing always shrink the fabric? I find with the Pellon it does. With the woven, not so much. I think partly it's the fabric shrinking a little bit more. Even if you've pre-washed it, your fabric can continue to shrink a little bit. I definitely know what you're talking about. I find it particularly problematic in areas that are really small, like collars and collar stands, cuffs, because you're already kind of fighting with what you're sewing it to, right? And once you've only ironed the heck out of one collar stand with the interfacing, the other one hasn't been, you know, ironed like that, it does feel a little bit smaller. So sometimes what I do is I iron the other collar stand as much as I'm ironing the one with the interfacing, and that kind of helps. Get this nice and flat. 4 pins. We're going to do this with 4 pins because we love living on the edge around here. All right, let's look at this. Anything I notice? Okay, looks pretty good. I got fancy on you. Yeah, right? They're just deciding my fate. What cocktail I'm gonna need after this project. I'm just teasing. All right, so I'm gonna turn it inside out so I can sew. Oh, I was about to sew this on the right side. I won't sew it on the right side. Oh yeah, so we voted on how do you want me to finish this facing? Do you want me to just overlock it, top stitch it down, or turn it under and clean finish it? Did I just see my screen jerk or something up there? What happened? All right, so I like to start at shoulder seams for things like this. I think the back stitch just looks nicer there. Make sure you have all of this. Remember, even though I pinned it, make sure you have it all nice and stretched out, because at this little seam juncture here, what can happen is your shoulder will do this. It'll kind of like pleat over. You ever seen that? It's so stressful watching. I'm sorry. I'm not stressed, if that helps you any. All right, so we get this. I got my machine in there, my needle is down, and it's going to kind of be my helping hand right now, so I get this all nice and smooth. I'm gonna pull this stitch a little bit more, make sure it's nice and relaxed. Remember, this stitch is showing on the right side of your garment. Not to stress you out at all. And we're approaching another shoulder seam right here. So you want to make sure that, you know, you don't get that pleat again. Let me brighten it up. How is the color for you guys? I know all devices can change or be different. Okay. I feel like I have a slight point there, so let's just roll that in our fingers and get that a little bit turned under more so it's nice and not pointy. I saw some gathers on my shirt there. We don't want that. If you can't get rid of a point in your facing, at least sew smooth with the machine and no one will ever know that there's this point on the inside. Hi, Adina. Nice to see you. That's so true, Nancy. I don't know why I asked. I don't know. I just felt like there could be that person out there going, you know, I've never serged a facing. So. Okay, like I said, I'm just kind of, I let the garment, like, I feel like you can't really see very well, but, you know, I'm letting this lay flat as much as possible right here. I'm really focused on just the neckline there. Make sure it's nice and flat. You also don't want to get torque lines between your, on your bodice, right? Where you're stitching it down at the facing. So this is another thing that we're trying to prevent. And it's looking pretty good. See that? So I always just sit there and I fuss. You know, more pins could help, but honestly, I would take them out and then I would just fuss anyway, just to make sure, you know. So sometimes fewer pins for me is a little easier. All right, so I'm getting to another shoulder seam. These are always the problem areas in my opinion, because like I showed you, they can kind of pleat over the back or whatever direction it's going toward. I'm just pulling out that stitching, like stretching it out a little bit, making sure it's not going to pucker it up. All right, so let's find the center of my back neck here. So I can just lay my tag. Like that. Always stop needle down so you can make these adjustments. Sometimes home sewing machines have this as a default that you can enable. Just look in your instructions. And then every time you are paused and you're sewing, it will stop needle down. It's really, really handy. I couldn't live without it. In fact, if you ever check out that video where I pit my home machine versus my current industrial versus my old industrial that doesn't have electronics on it, that was the thing. Like, I was kind of surprised of all the things that I'm really used to. The stopping needle down was the thing I missed the most during that. I have this little tiny, see this like little bit of slack in here? Just trying to make sure I don't get a little tuck. Just making it nice and smooth. If we do, we can always fix it. It's kind of hard to see on this navy blue. There we go. Are you sewing right on the fold or over to the side? Right. I'm sewing right next to the fold. You don't want to be able to lift up much of the edge there. And I think that's just something, like sometimes I'll be further away. See right there? As long as you're not too far away, I feel like it kind of feels nice and tight. But as long as you're catching your fold. So say you're only turning under a 1/4 of an inch, as long as your stitching is within that 1/4 of an inch, it's gonna be secure. If you were too far in, which would not probably be what you would do, then it could unfold itself. And I think we've probably experienced that when we've been doing like, oh, I'm kind of a little shy on seam allowance in this cuff here. I'm just gonna turn under 1/8 of an inch and then you miss it. So, yeah, right, Terry? I think it will too. It just needs a little press. It's looking like it's a little like billowy right there. Maybe I would work on that a little bit. I don't know. What do you think, Nancy? Are these hand placements okay? I don't know about this. It's really obvious to me on my, in front of me. You see this? It's like right over the bust. What the heck? Hope, I mean, you know, my bust used to be up here. It might be down there now. No. All right, so let's overlock the elastic to the sleeves and struggle with the sleeves now, because I think that those might be a little bit, like they say, they tell you straight up in the instructions something to that effect. Let me see. It says it takes 1 1/8 inch wide elastic. I feel like that might be one of those metric to imperial conversions. You don't really see 1 1/8 inch wide elastic for sale, so I'm going to use 1 inch, but if you have 1 1/4, I think that's fine. You're just going to lose 1/8 of an inch in length of your sleeve. I wanted to tell you what it said on the sleeve there. The sleeve hem is very curved and is cut on the bias, so I find it helpful to use basting stitches to assist in easing the fabric. Wait, it says it somewhere. Where does it say it? I swear it says somewhere it's hard. Maybe it was somewhere else. Nancy, right? Hi, Lorna, how's it going? Oh, that's fun, Malin. I love that. You did some sewing today, Adina? Nice. How's your kitchen remodel going? Okay, so yeah, if you want, you can clean finish this edge, and what I mean by that is fold up your sleeve hem along the hemline. It's marked on the pattern. It's not marked, but there's like a shape, and then turn under, you know, probably 3/8 of an inch fold. And you're going to stitch that down around the perimeter of your sleeve, but you're going to leave like a little bit of an opening, and then you insert your elastic and stitch it shut. Now I know I'm probably oversimplifying that for some of you, but I'm going to do this with my serger. I still think like with this big curve, it's going to be a little hard. It's going to be hard. All right, I wanted to get my sleeve length, or my elastic length here. Let's see, I think it's right here at the front. There's a chart under the finished measurements. So it says 11 3/4. Let's see where we think that this sleeve is gonna land on us. I like these kinds of gathered sleeves to be really loose. So it's like right here on my forearm. So let's assume it's gonna be more like right here, right? Do you think this looks maternity? 9, 10, that's 11 inches right there. You know, I'm gonna make mine, I think I'm gonna cut mine like 12 1/2. All right. So first thing I'm gonna do, didn't I have a little pin on this thing? Was there a pin on this? Well, I'll just put this on there. I'm gonna overlap my elastic like this, and I like to overlap it flat, just like that. And I'm just gonna overlap it like 3/8 of an inch, ½ inch. I added extra so I could do this. This overlapping is not allowed for, meaning it's permitted. It's accounted for in the elastic measurement. I just want mine a little longer. So I do this so it's nice and flat. And I do it twice because you don't want this to pop when it's inside the sleeve and you're wearing it one day. Never mess around with, you know, securing your elastic in the round. So now it'll be more like that. And when the fabric's on there, yeah, I think that was a good call. So, and if it goes up here, you know, I don't really want it to sit there. I actually really want to make sure it stays longer. All right, let's do the serger. So we're going to serge the elastic directly to the sleeve. I have a dedicated video on this if this is something you're really interested in, and I do it on a waistband. My favorite way to do an elastic waistband is serging the elastic. It's so worth it. I know it might be a little nerve-wracking. I highly recommend just listen to what I say and practice. I'll go over it with you here. Let's see, where's the front and where's the back? There's the back, okay. So I'm gonna press my seam allowance of my sleeve. It's so huge. To the back, okay. All right, so this is something I can't stress enough. When you are stretching something, oh my gosh, you know what, guys? I can't do this. I actually can't do this. This is too much. Look. Well, shoot. I just realized that I can't actually do this method because your elastic needs to stretch the same amount. Oh, I don't want to sew it like this. This is a pain in the butt. Fine. I know you guys like it when I struggle. All right, I'm just going to overlock the edge. I'm going to give myself at least that. I'm so disappointed. I should have thought about that. Of course, it's going to be too voluminous to do that. All right, so let's see. Here is the back. Here's the under. It's so big. All right. In general, I would do this with the garment like this. If you're really worried about sewing your garment and catching it in the serger, I totally understand your fear of that. Turn it inside out like this. I'm looking for my back again. Here's my back. Here's my back. Here's my underarm, and I'm pressing the seam allowance towards the back. And then this way your whole garment is above the bed of the machine. You can't get it accidentally caught under. And I think of serging having a right and a wrong side. If you don't have to worry about this. So meaning you don't have to worry about making sure that the right side is facing up when you go through the serger. But whatever way you do it, just make sure your sleeve is above the bed of the serger here. Okay, here's beginning. I'm dreading this now. I could, I guess. What if maybe I should iron this now. I guess I could use narrower elastic, but I actually was looking forward to the wide cuff look. Your pain, my pain is your pain. I hardly believe that. Yeah, you know, a lot of people have mentioned that, Sarah. I love that look too. I think that'd be cute. I know why they did it. It's because of this next step. All right, let me turn this right side out. Yeah, it's just not oh gosh, it's gonna look kind of bad. All right, so where's my elastic? I'm gonna give myself about that much. So there's about this much there. We'll see. It's not even gonna fold up, watch. Look at that, I'm already getting the little buckling. The good news is if you have these little buckling things in this, it's gonna be gathered up. You will not notice it. The proper way to draft this pattern would have been to do a facing, just so you know. That there is, I know that there's garments like this out in the world. See, I told you guys, they love my pain. The reason I'm not following, I don't know what their hem allowance was for this. It could have been less, it could have been more. I think it was more. The narrower you make this, the easier, and that's why I'm just going to go by my elastic width. Yeah, right, Eliza? Yeah, one could just draft a facing. Look at this, it won't even, like talk about torquing. Oof, you guys. And here's the deal. Like, I know that having fewer pattern pieces is probably something that seems like, oh, then it's a more, people are more apt to be like, oh, that's simpler. You know, like you might get people like more interested in sewing it. But this step right here, I am not kidding. This is not for the faint at heart. Look at all this. It's too tight in the underarm and then going to be too loose in the fuller part. I could, but I feel like, Barbara, I'm already modifying the back. So I feel a little bit like, you know, it's a free pattern. I'm thankful that there's a free pattern. I want to help some folks sew it. But yeah, I think I have enough fabric to make a facing. It would be pieced together probably. Do I have enough? I don't know, maybe I don't. Yeah, you might be right. I might not, Barbara. Even bias binding, they're like wide. Yeah, that's why I like having you guys here too. The funny thing about live streaming, I would love to meet another live streaming sewer and talk really candidly with them because, you know, it's like, I think a lot of us do things unconsciously that maybe we change something or fix something or, you know, oh, I like to do it this way along the way and no one knows and it's not a big deal, right? I don't really do that as much. Yeah, I'm going to stitch it down and leave a hole and insert it. Is anyone else getting an error on the heart site? What are you trying to use it on? Is it a sale thing? There's 3 things. I think it's sale items, gift cards, and something else, Eliza, that it doesn't work on. And it's So20 all caps. They just said through today, so I'm wondering if there was a time? Weird, weird. Oof. Can't chop it all? My phone is faster than the computer. Oh, the whole site is an error. Oh. That's a bummer. Poor hearts. All right, so I'm gonna show you one little trick you can do with this that may make you pull your hair out. I'll do it 2 different ways. Yeah, I noticed the site seems slow to me too. I just figure it's like Spoonflower's site is so slow. Oh. I hope their site's okay. All right, so this is one of my tricks I'm gonna do. I'm going to just put the elastic in here and I'm gonna stitch next to it. Don't catch the elastic. Now, because this thing gathers up so much, it's gonna get a little bit hard, but you don't have to insert it then. Oh, I hope I can do it this way. This way is in some ways easier. Then you don't have to do the whole feeding it through the casing. This sleeve is, yeah, this should have a facing. Yeah, right, Martina? I know, I'm kind of like, I can see the torquing happening. I need to pleat it up a little bit. Maybe this wasn't a good idea. Let's see. I'm just gonna go for it. Look at all the sleeve in there. Oh my goodness. This is probably not a good idea. I'll show you the other way when I'm done. Let's pleat that up there. So I'm just keeping it on the fold line, but then kind of pleating it if it doesn't want to lay flat along the serged edge. Let's brighten it up a little bit. It's gonna get really bright for a second, I think. Oh, that's not too bad. And then, so you can see every ugly bit of this. See, part of my problem with this kind of sleeve, Ray, hey, that was nice of you. Very unnecessary, thank you. That was fast. The latency made the alert faster. Did you guys see it? It was there, right? So here's my other reason for this sleeve being kind of tricky is that along this folded edge right here, it's not going to be this nice crisp fold, which I really like. That's why serging it on would have been really nice, but I didn't think about the fact how small or how big this sleeve is. So, you know, like, is the time I save by not threading it through being saved right now? I don't know. Look at all this. There we go. Look at that. You know, there's your sleeve cuff coming together. Yeah, the alert was faster. I thought so too. You got the air. Wow. Well, I hope their site's not hacked or something. After this last stream, I had this really weird thing because I usually click the monetization thing for ads, but I make the ads so that hopefully you don't see them during the stream playback. You just see it before or after. But it gave me a yellow exclamation point and said there was inappropriate stuff in my stream. I was like, we didn't even talk about boobs or butts. And but then I just asked for a review, and the next time I looked, it was gone. So I don't know what that was about. All right, so now I'm getting to the point where I'm going to stretch it a little bit. And kind of, like my hands are doing a lot right now. I'm kind of keeping this stretched. Almost done though. Sorry, you probably can't see. I'm almost to the beginning. I like to try and keep it flat. Oh, that looks a little narrower. That looks a little narrower right there. I may need to fix that. Maybe not. Maybe it's okay. That's pretty cute. Doesn't it look like that's like not even stitched down? But it is. I think it's because it's folded up a little more there. All right. So let's, oh, Angela, thanks. That's nice of you. Yeah, that came out pretty nice. Okay, so this one I'll just stitch flat, and you can see the difference. I'm going to tuck my serger tail under there. And I'm going to leave a little bit open. It's going to be on the front side, but no one's going to be able to tell. Just because I want to get this tail kind of secured. Now that alert was a little bit slower. That's so funny how it works. Night, Malin. See you later. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. I haven't said when I'm streaming next week. That's so funny. Do I know? Oh yeah, the blazer. I'm doing the blazer all week. That's right. I was like, wait a minute. Oh shoot. I just started tucking the shirt. Look at it. That's what it wants to do because there's not enough length there to turn your facing back. So the elastic really covers that up. All right, so let's get this started. This is awkward. It's gonna do some weird torquing stuff. So when you get to these areas here where your length is longer, you can just tuck it. I mean, I know maybe people say you should ease it in or something, but it's gonna be gathered with elastic. I don't think it's worth the headache. And I'm gonna use my awl because the awl is so handy for this. I can kind of just push it under there. You want to try and prevent as much torquing, which means you don't want to pull like this edge here too far this way, right? And then get this lifting up of the torque there. Poor Janice. So yeah, you want to basically, when you see these little tucks, keep them so that they're not at an angle to this fold edge here. Try and make them perpendicular like that. You see how this one's more perpendicular, like a little pleat? It'll lay nicer and you won't get that torquing. Some might be bigger than others, but you can distribute them a little bit more or just make a big one and a couple, small ones, So like, see how this is right here? Have this really big one here. So pull this so that these little pleats are more perpendicular to this fold line here. And this has this like ironing mark in here, so it's like wanting to do that, but we're gonna remind it, no, you're gonna be more evenly distributed. The problem with this method for me is that I don't have a safety pin here. Oh, nice, Sydney. That's awesome. Yeah, I think next month, oh, see now look, it's a little short, look. I think next month I'm gonna send out the reminder closer to the week of the Zooms. Okay, see now look at that. Ooh, I can't really let that go. I'm gonna have to, this was going so well too. I should have known. I'm gonna back this up like way back here. So one thing you can do though, if you do it this way where you fold it first and then insert your elastic, it's a pretty wide casing, and a really nice touch is if you also edge stitch down here. It looks so good. I really want to do it on this one, but then my sleeves will be asymmetrical. But it looks really nice. All right, let's see. Can I get that in there? Look at that. You can't see that. This right here, this is gonna scare Janice away. Look at that. I'm holding this. Let me rotate it a little bit. It's honestly no laughing matter. Look how nice that was going. It's this pesky underarm area that's really bad. Let's see if we can get it in there. Oh, God. I may have to just do, I must have tucked the other one. I don't remember tucking. Wow, Eliza. This is a nightmare. Yeah, see, here's my problem. The seam is almost lined up, right? So look at that. I was actually expecting it to happen like around the whole thing. Oh. Really, Angela? That's so funny. Have you heard my story where my mom, when I was learning to sew, you know, she was kind of like, I was taking classes in high school, and I think I wanted to use the home machine, so she was kind of helping me get oriented with our home machine. And she said, now my favorite tool when I sew is the iron. That is so wise, right? My mom's not really the like hardcore sewist. Like she doesn't even own a sewing machine right now, but you know, she's sewed over the years, like for all kinds of things, you know? And I was like, really? Well, mine's a seam ripper. And the look on her face was like, yeah, okay, you know? And yeah, she never said anything. All right, so I think this all looks great, right? What do you do? This is just kind of unfortunate. I think I'm just gonna tuck the bodice. You know, like I have all the slack right here, but we know we need it back down here because it's taut. Can't have too many seam rippers. I only have one, I'd like to say. Well, you know, I have a backup if mine breaks. Today I thought it was going to break. Okay, so we're going to just gather this up a little bit. I'm going to look at my other one to see if this happened naturally. And I didn't notice it. I don't want these tucks to make it torque though. So I'm kind of just sewing all this the way I had it before. And I'm gonna put tucks on the bodice right through here. breaking the rules. My sewing teacher just did a backflip. Not enjoy. Look at that. Oh, I need to leave it open, and we're not leaving it open there. I forgot to leave it open. I know. I know you guys are probably texting that right now. I'm going to leave it open on the other side of the seam since that wasn't a problem area. Poor Janice, I knew it. I could use a second seam ripper occasionally, but I would just put it somewhere else. Okay, so we're gonna take this apart. What did I use last time to get elastic in a casing? Since I don't have, oh, I used a paper clip, didn't I? No, I used a hair thing. Shoot, let's see if I have one still over here. My loop turner won't work for this. That's what I would normally use. All right, well, I have a barrette. I have a plastic bobby pin. All right, this will be interesting. I'm the only sewist without a safety pin. A button. That's a good idea. All right. Now I think I'm going to use a new piece of elastic. Actually, this is what I'm thinking. I'm going to use a new piece of elastic. I'll save this one, it's fine. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to mark on it the cut line. Pretty, you know, noticeably, okay? Because it might rub off on the inside. And I'm going to cut it longer. And I'm going to cut a hole in it. I'm going to use my barrette. I'm the MacGyver of the sewing world. I just want you all to know. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, bodkins are great. Bodkins, do I have one here? No. It's like a big heavy needle, but it has a ball at the end. You like that, you guys? So one thing you want is not, this is such a big circumference here. Don't let your elastic get sucked in there. Try not to also let it get twisted. When it starts getting close to the edge, I'll pin it so I don't lose it, you know. Nothing's gonna stop me, you guys. You should know that. Okay, none of it's twisted. Look at my chalk almost came off. I knew. Cut it there. Overlap. Same thing as before, just overlap it. I like a ½ inch, just so I can get 2 rows of stitching very securely on there. Okay, and then pull it the rest of the way through and evenly distribute it. And then you're going to stitch it down through that section. Try and like maybe slide as much of that fullness away from this little opening that you left. It's kind of, I was about to be a little bit crass, but I will be. It's going to look like shite. I mean, like, this is just not, it's not the best way to do it. Sorry. It's not my favorite way. Yeah, like, look at that. I didn't get it lined up perfectly because I couldn't see my stitching. That was me. Oh, I got a tuck. Did I get a tuck? Oh, no, I didn't get a tuck. Okay. I thought I got a tuck, but I think I just can get rid of these 2 little stitches here. It's fine. But hey, it's Diane. Hi, Diane. Welcome. Nice. Yeah, well, welcome. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I'm just about finished with this. But yeah, it will be uploaded. And you can replay it. You can fast forward it then too, which is kind of nice. You don't have to watch my face with certain steps, because certain steps were a little bit confounding. All right, there we go. You think, yeah, I mean, oh yeah, which one was that, Eliza? Was this one? Yeah, it doesn't look that great. So I wanted to see, did I get tucks in the outer bodice? I didn't. It did kind of work better, but it was, the second way was probably easier, don't you think? So I'm going to put it on and see the length. I can put it on my dress form, but I feel like I fit better than the dress form. I want to see the sleeve length too. I am the double bun ambassador. Oh, the sleeves do sit above my elbows. I don't want them to though. So glad I made the elastic longer, you guys. Oh, I don't know about this. Oh, I don't know, you guys. What if I put some vents in the side? So I thought this was going to come down to right here. I think you kind of have to. So I made I cut the elastic 12.5 inches rather than so like a little bit longer. I made it 4 inches longer. The neck looks wide. I know my collar is kind of poking out. You like the hand placements? Nancy, stop it. Yeah, maybe I shaped him. It just looks kind of shapeless. So this was one of my thinking is, what if I did elastic at the bottom and just kind of gathered it in gently? It is a bit of a boat neck. All right, so one of the reasons I did it longer, yeah, I look a little bit flat, right? So my dress is obviously underneath. So what if I put elastic in it and then it did this kind of blousey thing? What do we think of that? Yeah, like they should either be longer or shorter. This one feels shorter. Of course you can't, Nancy. And it's like these hands here are darker. Of course. What if it was shorter, you guys? What about just shorter? I think button front. Yeah, I need something. So I didn't change the front. This is how it would be. What about a little neck slit? Stop it, you guys. Janice and Nancy. Shorter was good. I know. And so that is supposed to be short. I just want to I want to work with things. Yeah, it looks cute while sitting. I noticed that too. Maybe some pin tucks. I like that idea. Okay, what about shorter with vents? Or, this is why you sew your button openings shut. No neck slit. Okay. Yeah. Well, then I would have had enough to put a facing on my sleeves. Yeah, darts, I could probably do darts. I'd have to fit that probably on the dress form then. Shorter with, thank you. This color's always kind of weird. Shorter with vents. And then, yeah, maybe some darts. Now I have a hair in my eye. Or, I mean, I could do the shirt tail hem, you know. I think that sounds good in theory, but then on, I don't know, do you think it wouldn't be noticed? But I could do a shirt tail hem, go 4 inches up. It would actually have some shape. Or shorter. Yeah, I think you're right, Penny. All right, let's make it shorter. All right, let's make it shorter. Shorter, and then, yeah. I'm just tired of everything getting so low-waisted. You know? On my pants. Okay, so I added 4 inches, and so maybe I'll just take that 4 inches off. It gave me some options. That's what I wanted. Those sleeves, man, they're heavy. Kind of looking, it's really pulling. Do the darts first. I really wanted this to be kind of a loose top. And if I do the darts, like really I don't think it needs darts. Because I don't really feel like it needs to be shaped through here. The arm elastic's comfortable. I made it longer, and I'm really glad I did, because that much fabric really takes up some of the volume. I'm just thinking about those darts, you know. I'm gonna take off 3 inches. This is what I do sometimes. I just take it off a little bit. This is how I get my parallel mount. I just keep folding it back. It gets longer and longer, and then I smooth it out. This is the quick and dirty sewing. I feel kind of bad. Like, I would have liked to have done it more proper sew along since I am the ambassador. No, I'm just teasing. Yeah, I feel you on that one, Adina. I do too. Smooth it out. Yeah, I admittedly, Diane, I don't do that most live on camera very often, but it is one of my little quick and dirty methods to get a parallel line if I want to go like, you know, like around something. I just do a little bit and keep folding over. Is it? That's good. I think I figured it out once when I didn't have a ruler. I couldn't make a parallel line. I knew how much I wanted to remove by just like trying it on. And so then I just did that and it's kind of stuck. It works really good. Okay, so now we have it back, except it's an inch longer. And so to do the vent here, we have a French seam. Well, you could draw a line, you know. Definitely, it's a wild, wild west today here. I legit can't remember how to do vents with a French seam, though. It is easy. It is easy. It can go wrong sometimes, I admit. But for the most part, it's pretty great, you know. If you need to do it on like a really narrow piece, I would use a ruler. Nice! Sydney, she's getting through that pile. Let me think about this vent. I feel like when I do a vent with a French seam that I can't. That's what I feel like. I feel like you don't really do that. You have to clip it. There's probably a way to do it, right? I'm just removing a little seam allowance above so that I have a little more room to work. We'll just do like a little like 3-inch. So I need to do a little more. I'm gonna do a little bit more. Yeah, I have to clip it, right? It's kind of a bummer. I feel like it negates your beautiful French seam, you know? I did that on that Rita shirt dress, I'm pretty sure. Or, you know, on the side seams, I actually think I just serged it. No, that was French seams, because remember when I just did those pockets recently? I was like, oh yeah, French seams. That about how much I want? Yeah, I think I'm gonna clip it like right here. Feels wrong. All right, so let's sew this seam back. I'll go a little past that slit. And then now I can just open it up and get rid of some of these threads. There we go. And now I can just hem it. Let's do the other side. Yeah, okay. I figured it's so funny because when I said I'm sure there's a way to do it, the first thing that popped in my head is I'll bet Threads magazine showed a way. They are so underrated. I don't look at them now, so I'm not sure what the content is like. The person who manages the Instagram is pretty funny though. They're a lot saucier than I ever remember Threads being. But I feel like it was definitely for the most part, like the proper way to sew. No, Sydney. Don't ask me that though, you know me. You guys are all way better rule followers than me. I'm well past you no longer like it. Oh, interesting. is it gotten like here's the thing is like, because we live in this world now of social media and stuff, I think that unless you are a certain age or look a certain way, you are kind of ignored, right? Not completely, right? You guys, we all respect the people that came before us and knew all this stuff that we're learning from, and I've even been asked by people you guys follow that are really popular how to do something, and then they don't even acknowledge me. And it's like, okay, but do I just ignore this person's question, you know? And I feel like that's what you're going to start seeing, is that the people that have these tremendous amounts of skills, the people we really need to learn from, and who pass down this stuff that wasn't all on the internet, that's in these people's minds and in their hands, that is going to start getting lost because it's not this cute, perky package, you know? And people have a lower patience for that. Interesting. I need to shorten that alert. I'm going to iron this a little bit. I'm going to clip the other one to match. You know, and I think saying that is so cliche for me to even say that, but it really is true, and it's very subtle. That stuff is getting lost without us knowing it, because a lot of us probably in the back of our mind are like, oh, I pay attention to that. But they aren't the loudest voices. And also just the idea of a print magazine, even if they're digital, that's another thing that kind of categorizes them in a way that makes them not less accessible, but not accessed by people who are used to different formats. All right, this was the one I clipped just now, right? I need to still stitch this one down a little bit, but we'll just start ironing it. Threads is never had patterns in it. They are the ones, they're really like the stalwarts of like sewing. They're the ones that on the back of their magazine have usually a vintage garment in detail. It's pretty cool. You lost the philosophical moment. I was just talking about how like Threads magazine is, I don't know, like for me growing up sewing and learning, that was like the aspiration to sew. Like a lot of the stuff they do is pretty proper, and they would have really incredible designers doing little articles for them and stuff, you know, like icons, you know. And I don't feel like they're really the resource people go to. People are much more apt to go to someone who is less experienced, maybe because they have an affinity with that person being on their experience level, which I actually totally get. You know, it's kind of nice to be around another noob because they are remembering or telling you the things that the experts have kind of forgotten. They're like, oh yeah, I forgot you might not know how to do that, you know. But also because it's not coming in a cute, perky, young package, you know. I think that that's partly why we're going to be losing a lot of the knowledge for certain skills in the world, because some of them weren't maybe digital, they're in people's heads. And you wait. With sewing, it's going to happen for sure, because there are a lot of things we did with sewing that we didn't have a specific machine for. And people are going to want to go back to that and make it look, you know, a certain way. And there's going to be one person left that knows how to do it. Like I think about some of the things that were taught to me in college that were already being lost, you know, like Fortuny pleating and things like that that were really fascinating, but no one knew how they did it. They knew how they copied it. Yeah, and I say that, I think, in respect to Threads magazine, because Threads had that kind of tailoring aspect to it, but it wasn't always tailoring focused. It was very accessible for other things. But, you know, like at the time when I was reading Threads, I was probably in my 20s. I had a subscription for years. That's what all those magazines down there are. They're all Threads magazines. And the information is still good, you know. It's just dated because maybe a brand or whatever, interfacing or whatever, you know. All right, so I didn't give myself much seam allowance for this little hem here. So I kind of lost lost the thread of what I was about to say. They never had stylish garments. Yeah, it was definitely geared towards a different market. Welcome to subscribing, Pakamani. I don't know how to say your name. I'm so sorry. I have a name that people can't pronounce either. I can completely relate. 1960s dress on the back. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's cool, Sarah. You only kept about 10 old ones. Yeah, like I have a few, like, yeah, and some I've given away. I'm like, oh, you can keep that one, you know. So I'm going to start, I think I'm going to start right here. I'm going to turn this under. I'm going to sew a little narrow hem in this vent. And I'm going to do this whole thing in one, I think. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to actually sew the vent and then I'll sew the hem. I'm just going to open it up like this. Go a little bit above my vent. So you can see I'm at the top. Turn this side under. But some of the contributors that they had were really amazing people. All right, and keep going. All right, so there's one vent. I have a little thread from my pulled out seam of my French seam. Get those threads in there. We'll be able to hem that up. But you do have this little raw edge right there. All right, let's do the other side. So basically what I'm doing is just going up and around. Yeah, knitting very similarly. I think the good thing with knitting is that, well, that's not probably true. Well, I was going to say with knitting, I feel like there's really not a whole lot with shortcuts. So in a way, some of what you do, like the steps, the actual stitches, haven't changed. The things that have, the people will come up with really cool, like different lace designs and things like that, or ways to do something that's done on a machine by hand, or sizing things. Like, hopefully knitting fits better. I feel like I'm missing a few of your questions. The British have some great sewing mags. The postage would be high. Oh, hi Eve. I've never seen you here before. Sorry if I didn't say hi to you earlier. If you said something, Delta, I liked your comment. It was funny. I'm gonna be one of those because you know, like I see people like that are really awesome and fun, you know, out there, and they don't so very well. I like watching them and seeing what they do, but it doesn't sometimes matter. And I think that's my point, is that sometimes it's about the presentation rather than the content. Ooh, nice, Terry. Blazer! Oh, right, Nancy. I love that too. I can still remember the smell of that. I haven't done that in forever. Yeah, that's true, Sydney. They do. All right, I'm going to hem this, and I always fold in a corner like this. So here's my raw edge. Here's my vent. Is this too bright? I feel like it's not too bad, though. And then I fold it up, and then I fold it under. And I do this because I don't like just folding it like this. You can. But what happens is this little edge right here inside there, that never stays in there, right? It does this. It'll poke out like that, you know? And so this is how I combat that. I just kind of turn the corner under there. Wrench, winch. Nancy, you crack me up. All right, so basically all I'm doing is on that first fold, I just turn under the corner, and then you can fold it up again, or you can do a bigger corner to the actual finished line like this. Turn it under, and sometimes what I do is I get it so that this corner lines up with that stitching. It's probably not going to do it on here because I didn't really plan it out and this was so narrow. Kind of doing this on the fly, right? Get those threads under there. I really like doing it when I can line it up, because when I do it like at the center front with the button, the placket, and go all the way around, it can look seamless. And that's what I'll sometimes, if I think about it ahead, I'll stitch the placket, go all the way around the whole garment in one long stitch with just one back stitch. Oh, that's the kind of thing that makes me so excited. This kind of fabric, it hems so easily, you know? Kind of want to just compare my lengths here. So that I get the same length. Is that really? Oh, there we go. Right there. Just do this. Okay. Don't want any torquing. Got that. I have this corner. It's just too steep. I'm just gonna scratch that so it. I don't want it that steep. There we go. That might be a little better. Wrench, wench. I know. I saw. Wrench, wench. Oh, that's funny. You know, at the beginning, I don't know if you saw it, Eliza, but it looks just so similar, just like that Anna Allen. What the heck? I got my corner in there by 2 stitches. So I'm going to actually trim this away. There we go. It looks so much like that Anna Allen Anthea top. It's a cotton, Adina. It's just a cotton lawn It's the Lady McElroy hands-on in Midnight. I'll put the, I had this whole stream set up with scheduling so that, which was kind of fun. I have to figure that out, and that person, Danny, that stopped by today, they gave me like, I'm gonna check it out and make sure if I can start scheduling the stream, because I had the link in the description to this top pattern, although I'm sure my struggling today probably didn't encourage you guys very much, did it? When I do rolled hems, I really like the rolled hem to be the same amount I'm folding both ways. Like 1, 2, I like it to be the same amount in there, you know, and that's just so that I get less wrinkle. I keep getting it a little bigger over here though. Yeah, Martina, have you noticed that too? Like right now, this, like the tiered skirt thing. And what's the other one? Oh, the dress that like a waist seam, gathered skirt, kind of loose. That's a very similar silhouette. I'm really kind of fascinated by it because I'm like, huh, I didn't really need either of these silhouettes in my life. Okay. I have some threads right here. I'm just kind of cleaning it up before I finish it. I did this so on the fly that it's not the best hem, but it will do. I'm just trying to get that thread in there. There we go. And I just made sure that my vents match from front to back. All right. I'm glad we did the vent, at least. It's something right down there. Clean up a little bit of these back tacks. What time is it? Okay, cool. I'm sorry, Jan. I really, the only thing I struggled with really was that sleeve. Yeah, prairie dresses in the cottage core. Oh, thanks, Diane. I'm really glad. I will say I smooth over a little bit of it. Well, that's good, Amy. See, Amy's down for it. Good, good. Yeah, you burned out on making quilts. Quilt making is hard. I mean, I've heard a little bit of the cottage core thing, but it's not really my aesthetic, so I'm not really following it. You know, the thing, guys, I came from Humboldt County, and kind of that whole, like, relax, like there's that hippie element, there's, you know, undyed, natural fiber, lots of hemp, cotton, kind of looking, just kind of Little House on the Prairie-ish. That's very, very popular for the last, you know, 60 years, so. Hi, Maria. What print magazine did we all like the most? That's a good question. Do you have a favorite, like sewing related? If I struggle a little, you'll still. Oh, interesting, Eliza. So I think like some of the other sleeve options you could do is you could put elastic like up here and let this hang out, and then you'd have that little ruffle at the bottom. That would be really easy to sew, and you could even not hem this. You could just overlock it or do a narrow overlock, and then just zigzag that elastic. Use the narrow, like you said, it's much stretchier, and then stretch the heck out of it. Nancy, true. You're not a big fan of boat necks, Eliza? I don't mind boat necks, as long as it doesn't show my straps. Let's put this on the dress form and see what we think. On Trixie over here. Do we regret not putting the back opening? It looks good. I mean, this is how most of my things fit, right? They always do this little... That looks pretty cute. Oh, I need to go this way. See, the camera is not mirrored. Yeah, totally, Sydney. It's not really that boaty. It's just not scooped. I think that looks pretty cute. What am I gonna wear this with? Cerami core. You mean you have a lot of things that don't go together? Because that's my style. That's why I wear dresses. Jeans. I think jeans would be really cute. Do you think I could wear this with my my marigold Dawn jeans? The like marigold colored ones? This looks really cute. See, I think the sleeve looks better on the dress form because there's no arm in here. You know, it kind of hangs less bulky. Yeah, I agree, Eliza. You know, I think that it would be kind of an interesting thing to take this bodice and make it a faux wrap, just stitched at the side seams. Yeah, I think the marigold jeans, it would look cute, huh? It's the first thing I thought of. And it's almost the weather for it. I think the billowy sleeves would have just driven me crazy, but I like the look of that. You guys are really, the hands are probably really obvious on the camera, huh? Oh, I do have a skirt. That would be really cute, Delta. Yeah, I know what you mean, Nancy. I think, too, if sometimes when you're curvy, having that tailored look like princess seams and darts are really helpful. We're not shapeless, you know. Are any of you getting that Cashmerette book? It looks pretty good. I was tempted to get some of the fitting books in the Rylas Bod. Do you know her? I think she works or owns the sewing school or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, sorry. And I was looking at one because someone was asking in the Facebook group, who was that? Was it Donna maybe? Asking about like specific fitting. And these books look pretty interesting. I'm kind of tempted to see how they're teaching fitting, you know? All right, so I thought this would be really straightforward. I did struggle. I'm gonna look at that sleeve pattern and I'll report back. So ask me about it because it'll be a few days before I see you guys. Yeah, I know. It's always the crux of it, right, Janice? What are the books? Well, if you go to Rylis Bod is her name, R-Y-L-I-S-S Bod, B-O-D. Her Instagram and look in her profile. It goes right to it. We would. Her stuff always looks so good. Like you see these dresses that are coming out with the seam. Like I feel like it's the Moneta all over again, but in wovens. You know what I mean? Like the waist seam, simple bodice. The Monetta's a knit, and it was a Colette pattern. It's out of print, and you can't find it anywhere. Someone was just emailing me about it, and I was like, I don't make the patterns. Sorry, they sometimes go out of print, you know? And I tried to find one for her. And right now, all these patterns are coming out with a seam, but that's it. But you see cashmerettes, and it actually fits her really, really nicely. Looks so good. Yeah, check out those books if you're interested. I haven't checked them out, you guys, but they do seem like the real deal. They're probably going to be a little bit homespun in a way, like meaning they're probably made on the premises. I think you get them digitally too. That's good, Janice. Is she revealing all the patterns before the book comes out? Oh yeah, I've heard that book's good. How are you liking it, Louise? I don't know her, but it sounds like people are really into it. I just saw Rebecca. You have sloped shoulders, and I feel like rag and sleeves always make me look like a ball. Yeah, you know, I think for me, I feel like because I don't have sloped shoulders, it makes me look like a ball. That's so funny that you think that, and I think the same thing. My shoulders are straight across, and so I feel like it just, you saw how it looked. It made me look flat, you know, like a big, that's why I wanted something here, you know. Cropped was the way to go. I just didn't believe it when I first was about to cut it out. This was hard fabric to match thread for, but look, it hangs nice in the back. Look at that. It looks really good. You know, this right here, you know, maybe this is, Adina, what you mean, right? Like if I put a few darts in here rather than the swing. See, I think so too, Rebecca, but they were like, no slit, but a V. I like things to break up this whole area here, you know? Yeah, Nancy, I always say that. People always want to design woven garments for themselves, but they wear knits. So it's good. Yeah, if you wear knits, yeah. Yeah, Dina, I knew that's what, yeah, exactly. I keep thinking this is a thread. I wouldn't want to like gather it here because then to not have that rise to get, well, it needs no, it's fine through here. It needs shaping. So you could do it here, right, in the side bust start. See, it's already going away. Can you see that? If I pull out that dart and then it swings forward again. It's because there's no shaping down here. And so you can add it right here with the side dart. You can take it out here. You can do both. You can do it in the armhole dart too. I mean, can you see it just lift up and go away? If I lift this one up, you'll be able to see it's gone. See? Takes out that pivot. It just doesn't have anywhere to go because there's no seam there. But yeah. Yeah, it just needs shaping through here. All this carved out area right here. And you know, I'm busty, so the point is going to hang off of my bust and go straight. I also have a pretty serious backwards hip tilt. So you'll see that most of my patterns in the back usually need some adjusting through here and even across my shoulders down here. And that is probably also contributing to this swing. It's a little more accentuated on me. This is a custom dress form, so it's a scan of me. Yeah, and you could add to the front length. Like once you add those darts, it'll pull it up a little bit. You'd have to compensate for that. But yeah, you can see it's not as long in the front as it is in the back. Like it's not, you can kind of see it there. The hem definitely goes up. But if I would have just straightened it out, it would look kind of frumpy. Yeah, Janice, I have it with every pattern. And making it shorter in the back helps this issue I have here. It helps it hang a little bit more balanced. So yeah, I think it looks cute. I think the fabric's pretty cute. All right, well, next week, everyone's welcome to sew a blazer with us. I'm not an expert blazer sewist. I'm just one of those people that will do anything. And we'll figure it out. I'll probably do some of it traditional and some of it not, you know. Yeah, it adds length and a dart. Exactly, Eliza. Yeah, because you kind of pull apart this whole section, and then you're adding a dart, but it adds some length down here. Because see, you're raising this up, so you have to kind of add it. I haven't. What do you mean? They have their own viscose knit? Yeah, right, Janice? I'm with you there. Yeah, I like to, that's why I made it originally long. So Sydney, do you mean they have their own like branded viscose knit? That's interesting. You know, I've decided that my favorite underwear fabric is things like that, like viscose knit or bamboo lycra or tencel, rayon knits. I love all those. All different ones. Bye, Delta. Have a good day. I know it's early for you. Thanks, Rebecca. That's nice of you. Thank you. It's a nice way to end the week, my 3-year streaming anniversary. 10K subscribers. That's pretty cool. I forget I'm like on full screen still. I copied my own, Janice, but there's a lot of free patterns out there. It takes so little fabric and so little sewing. You can kind of hone it pretty quickly. Night, Nancy. Feed those dogs. So Louise, the blazer thing, I'm going to be doing the Auburn blazer by Cashmerette now that they come in my sizes. That's the one I'm going to do. I got a kit from Cashmerette with all of the like shoulder pads and interfacings, everything like that. And then I bought my own fabric. But other folks are doing other jackets. Some folks are just going to do a big project. It doesn't even have to be a blazer. And then, so next week, I'm just going to kind of, I haven't even opened it all up. Like, I'm going to open it up. I'm going to fit it a little bit. And then I'm going to, after that, after next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, kind of honing what I want. The next week, I'm going to cut it. And then every Saturday, we're going to sew it. Yeah, and you can get the kit from Cashmerette. It was pretty affordable. She still has them. And I think I saw them somewhere else too, but I can't think of where. So, night, Eliza. Oh, what was Tomcat talking about, Sydney? Oh, for the viscose knit. Yeah, I think she's an ambassador. Maybe ask her about it. I didn't think they had their own branded fabric though. Oh, okay, Louise. That's cool. Yeah, Adina, I have a whole pile of like scraps I'm going to just cut a bunch of underwear out of. Yeah, that jacket looks cute, Rebecca. I think that, I know, I was thinking that it's perfectly timed. If you guys wanted like an unlined simple jacket, that new canvas jacket by Wardrobe by Me. I love the way she names things because she's just like me. She names them very simply, literally. I love it. I can relate to that. Yeah, so there's lots of folks doing it. Anyone can join, whatever. We're just going to cheer each other on. Nice. Oh, green denim. That sounds amazing. Like what color green? Oh. I really need my clothes to go together better. All right, so I'll see you guys Wednesday, and I'm gonna probably cut out a prototype, and then on Thursday, I'm gonna sew up the prototype and fit it. And then Saturday, I'm going to try and cut it out by Saturday. If not, I'll be making my pattern adjustments. So I could be cutting it out by the end of next week. It would be really great so we could start sewing the following Saturday. So that's my plan. So, all right. Nice having you guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for struggling with me. Really great to see so many people here today. That was pretty exciting. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday. And where's my thumbnail? Oh, it's way up here. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys soon. I have a new Friday sews up, but if you've been here, you know it all. So bye. I'll see you later. Bye.